Welcome into the Boom Bust Dynasty Trade Show. It is Monday night, June 15th, 7:32. Let's get started. If you are watching on our wide stream feeds, Twitch, YouTube, you can see the trade queue. It's big, it's beefy, it is full of trade questions today. From my count, which is a count done by a computer, we've got 24 trades sitting in the queue. So let's get one going. Let's get one going. Let's get one on the screen. I'm going to click go live on this trade. Let's see it pop up. There it is. There it is. There's a delay on my end. There is a delay on my end. Here we go. We've got the first trade coming from Big B Cards in Grid, Iron, and Blood. And this is, looking at this trade, we got Joe Burrow on one side with Rome Odunze. Let me make sure I got to move over here for the TikTok feed because I keep leaning like this. We'll set ourselves up right here. We got Joe Burrow and Rome Odunze on one side. Baker Mayfield, Amon-Ra St. Brown on the other. And the trade comes to us from Big B Cards. Are we moving Amon-Ra and Baker Mayfield for Joe Burrow and Rome Odunze? And I think we might be. So just looking at like startup values, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Joe Burrow, right in the same range, close to interchangeable. But we got Rome Odunze as like a fifth round pick with Baker Mayfield trailing behind there. I don't see any issues with this. If we want to swap up to a higher quarterback, and maybe we really believe in the upside of Rome Odunze. The only player here who we really have questions about is like Rome Odunze could have some untapped potential. So if you want to make this deal and bring someone in, the notes say you could also do T. Higgins instead of Rome. I think Rome has a little bit higher value right now, but we're hoping to see like more upside with Rome. So sure, if we want to make this deal, you've got Caleb Williams. You'd be going from Baker Mayfield as your QB2 to Joe Burrow. Your wide receivers definitely take a hit. Definitively take a hit. You can see the roster of the team submitting the question here. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown is doing a lot of work for this roster, and there's not a massive, amazing player behind that. But on paper, the trade's not bad. I like to have some of my value at wide receivers. So I'm going to say this one, like, hey, this is a fair value trade. You can go forward and do it. It's not hurting your team. I'm not sure that it's notably making the team that exists here massively better. Like Baker Mayfield is still going to give you some pretty good production this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown, we expect to be top 5. But if you're looking for the upside of Rome Odunze, I could understand making this deal. That is the first one of the day done. Let's check in. We like to get a trade going and then people pop in. They put their messages in the chat. Let's take a look and make sure we're not falling behind on any of them. We've got Maddox with the follow on TikTok. Thank you very much. We've got nothing coming through on the YouTube and Twitch just yet. And then on TikTok, let's take a look. Grant saying, can I get my team review done from last week? What we had been saying last week was last week was going to be the final week where we were doing free team reviews. So if you had a team review that was submitted before today, those were free demo ones to really just build out the flow of our team review site. Currently, all team reviews now are going over to paid, like we were saying last week and the weeks before that. So that has been set up on our website. If you have a team review that was submitted, that has been closed out. Those were all demo team reviews. Excuse me. Team reviews. If you have a trade review, you're good to go. Trade questions, we've got the queue. You can see the queue going across the top of the screen, on YouTube and on Twitch. Those will all get covered. Any team reviews, if your question is, here's my Dynasty team, what do we do? We handle that. It's just much more in-depth compared to a trade question. And those are now live on the website as a paid product. So any team reviews that we're looking at going forward will all be handled in that way. We've got another message in the chat to hit. Sorry for cussing. We're in a league together. Jonathan Taylor and Goddard for Kraft. Branching at 27 first. Which side wins? I'll never tell you. Just kidding. I will tell you. But it will be through our website. If you have a trade question, or would you rather, if it can be phrased as a trade, we take those as trade questions and we submit them through our website. I'm pointing at it on the TikTok feed where we get most of our chat messages. If you're watching on Twitch and YouTube, I was just pointing at nothing. Here it is. It's moving across the screen right there on Twitch and YouTube. You can submit your trades at boombustfantasy.com. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. WOM538 says, I got to pay for it. Not on trades. You get demo trade, or you get free trade tickets on account creation. So let's take a look at it. It's as easy to create your account as, here it is, boombustfantasy.com. It's as easy to create your account as just clicking get started on this. Hopefully this works for me. I have not done a demo in almost a week. Hopefully this works for me. I am signed into this instance of Google Chrome with my Gmail. If I click create an account with Google, it should be one click, account is created. And then you just type in your sleeper username. Mine is my full name. Please feel free to steal my identity. From there, you just click whichever site, whichever league you want to be the current league on the site for you. You know, on our site, you can look at your team and your league. You just need to pick which league you want to look at first. The Friendly Exchange is saying the site is awesome and it's worth it. Hey, thank you very much. We also have connections to our Discord server where you can post your trade questions to our Discord to get answers from the community with a link back to your league's roster settings and your league's rosters. For the demo, we hit skip on that. That's as easy as it is to make your account. And then if you have a trade question, you can go to trade advice, type in your trade as it is. It works the same way any other trade calculator does online. You type in the players' names and so. With the only difference being request expert review and clicking submit for expert review puts your trade in the queue of the trades that we will cover tonight. If you just want to post it to Discord with a link back to your league's rosters, you can. You can. WOM says, I got to pay for it. All accounts should be getting, I think you get 3 trade credits at account creation. So no, you don't got to pay for it. If you just have one Dynasty trade questions for your league, you don't got to pay for it. You don't. Let's keep going on the trade queue because we have a ton in the queue. So let's not dilly-dally. Let's not dilly-dally, silly Sally. Next one comes in from Mr. Meaner. Probably don't want to read that one too many times on my end. Meaner, a 12-team Superflex, start 9, PPR. There's no tight end premium in this league, and the trade involves a tight end. We've got Colston Loveland on one side and a package on the other. And the main parts of the package are 227 firsts. They're projected to be late. I don't know that they're going to be late once you get into or how late they're going to be, because once you get into the playoffs and it's one win or one loss and you're out, any playoff team is kind of a crapshoot. So if you think it's a late 27 first, it's really just a playoff 27 first. It could be the 107, 108, 109, and so on. If I'm in a league, 12 teams, start 9, no tight end premium, what am I looking for Colston Loveland? At a minimum, 2 firsts. Then when we're looking at this trade and saying, well, I guess you get Troy Franklin and Mason Taylor on top, I'll say I don't care about Mason Taylor or Troy Franklin in this trade. I do have a general rule of thumb that I use when evaluating trades. Like if we're looking at Colston Loveland's a top 50 player. Right? Like he's one of the highest tight ends. I think he's tight end 3 right now. If you're looking at community rankings on Keep Trade Cut, he's a top 5 tight end. He's a very highly valued player in trades involving very highly valued players, or really just in trades in general. We look at the most valuable piece and the least valuable piece needs to hit a certain threshold. Otherwise, I just don't care. And that's the kind of the case with Troy Franklin and Mason Taylor. The values here, like if we're looking at trades involving Troy Franklin and Mason Taylor, we can. It's got to be for like future thirds. Otherwise, I just don't care about these guys in this trade. So am I sending Colston Loveland for 227 firsts? That's the bare minimum. And then getting these other things on top does not move the needle at all for me. I'd want a better thing on top. The notes on this trade say this is the other package I could send Loveland for. The original was Eli Stowers, 227 seconds, and a late 27 first. I like the 227 seconds. I think we try to find some way to combine Troy Franklin and Mason Taylor in this deal with the other team and just get like one actually good player. So I'm going to call it like, if I have Loveland, I think you could get that teensy bit more or like a slightly better add-on on top of those 27 bursts. We will close that one out. Next trade up in the queue comes from T. Anderson. We'll set it live. And as you guys read it, let me know which side you like, because we do take a look at things from the chat as we go through these. I do like the input. Brian Holloway saying, what's Sam Laporta's value? 10-team Superflex with a 2-point tight end. I have not covered a 2-point tight end premium. We can look at that after this deal. We got this one from T. Anderson. I think it's T. Anderson. Probably not Tanderson, 002. In a 10-team Superflex start 11, full point per reception, no tight end premium. We got a trade involving the 101. Are you guys trading back from the 101 to the 102? You're adding in Romeo Doubs and a 28th third, and you get Breece Hall and Kyle Monangai. Which side of this deal does the question asker has the 101? They have Jeremiah Love. If you are on Twitch and YouTube, you can see their roster here. If you're on TikTok, I'm pointing off at nothing. But on other feeds, we're pointing at the full team. We're pointing at the full team that they have and all of their future picks. In a 10-team start 11, it's a pretty deep league. We're not looking at any quarterbacks in here that could tweak the value. Are we going from 101 to 102 and adding in these extra things to pick up Breece Hall and Kyle Monangai? Is there a reason to pick up Breece? This team has Chase Brown. They're bringing in Jeremiah Love. We would add on Kyle Monangai. But does this team like desperately need running backs to be picking up these extra guys? At the 102, we'd grab probably Carnell Tate. This trade doesn't say who the 102 is. I think these guys are currently in their rookie draft. Actually, I think they are. Really, this might be taking a while. The view that I have on my screen is they've already drafted 101. They have Jeremiah Love. And they already own the 104 and the 106 in this year's draft. So you can see this guy still has multiple firsts in this year. Am I doing all of this? I might just stick and make the picks with this deal. Yeah, I think I'm just sticking with Jeremiah Love. That's the edge that I'm taking because of the higher upside there. With Breece Hall and the Jets for the next couple of years, if it had been a different player or if you felt like you were going to move Breece Hall right after this, I think this is one where I'm sticking with Jeremiah Love, but it's very close. And close enough that if someone else made this deal, I wouldn't say it was crazy. So we'll hit that one and we'll move on to the next one. We refresh this because I think we've been getting some trades since we've been going. We started with 24. We've already covered 2, and we now have 26 in the queue. So we've covered some, and the queue is growing. If you want to get your trades in, you can submit them at our website. I'm pointing at the TikTok feed at boombustfantasy.com. And then on Twitch and YouTube, you can see your place in the queue at the top of the screen as we go through these. It'll update every once in a while, and we're at 26 trades in the queue. So we're going to try to get them going. Dan Grimm says, hey, great advice, submitted trade on site. Hopefully I'll make it in today. We'll go for a while today, Dan. We will go for a while today. Some days we go 2 hours to 2.5 with a trade. We haven't started with a trade queue this long. We're gonna move. We're gonna move. All right, Frelin Don, Dynasty champions in an 8-team Superflex start 12. The notes on this trade say need more quarterback depth. Also think about taking Mendoza at the 102. What are my thoughts? Their team has, this is the AJ Brown side. They don't currently have. Oh, yeah, the AJ Brown side. You can see the roster of the manager who submitted this trade. Are we sending AJ Brown, Daniel Jones in the 308 for Jalen Hurts and Kenneth Gainwell? Based on the notes of this trade, need more quarterback depth. They have Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy, Cam Ward. Maybe this is a team where they're starting more, a league where they're starting more quarterbacks. FZA, let me know. Is this a league where you are starting more than 2 quarterbacks? I just have this as a super flex league on my end. In a super flex league, start 8, where 16 quarterbacks get started each week. Even if this ends up being more quarterbacks started, 24 quarterbacks started a week. If this was an 8-team league where you could start 3, with Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy, Cam Ward, and Daniel Jones, you don't need more QB depth. Would I move Daniel Jones and the 308 on top of AJ Brown to get to Jalen Hurts and Kenneth Gainwell? I guess. And then make a pivot move. I think the value is fine. We didn't get a noise notification, but I seen Venomous Nate subscribed on Twitch Prime. Thank you very much, Nate. We appreciate you, Nate. Nate, we do appreciate any Twitch sub. Thank you very much. Thank you. 6 months in a row. Wow. Thank you. We are live on Twitch every day doing gaming as well in the off season. As we get closer to the NFL regular season, let's not stray too far from this trade. AJ Brown's Daniel Jones and the 308. Is that enough for Jalen Hurts in a league? Yeah. Does this team need more quarterback depth? No. Should this team draft Mendoza at the 102? No team should draft Mendoza at the 102. So we'll cover all the questions on there. I'm going to say that like the value is not bad on here for acquiring Jalen Hurts, but this team does not need more quarterbacks. If we bring in Jalen Hurts, we should probably move on from Jalen Hurts. Based on the scoring that I see, 8 teams, Superflex start 12. I think we're set on QBs. And at the 102, I wouldn't bring in Mendoza. We've got 4 quarterbacks who are starters in the NFL on this roster. Let's close it out. That one is closing. Next trade getting thrown up on the board. Here it comes. Luther Burden on one side in a 12-team Superflex start 10, half point per reception. No tight end premium. No TEP. Just a tip. No thanks. No thanks. Luther Burden for a 28 first, a 27 third, and DeAndre Swift. This feels like we're right in that price range. And this is someone sending, they have Luther Burden. It's 12 teams start 10. Is there a reason to drop down to a 28 first? With DeAndre Swift, like with this team, we have, you can look at the running backs. Do we need DeAndre Swift? Not really. If we want to just get out on Luther Burden and we just don't believe at all, is this a fine cash out? Sure. I'm sure there's plenty of people who would say like, no, not at all. It's not enough to get out. But this is about the market rate. DeAndre Swift, the 28 first, and then the 27 third. Doesn't play that much here. If I had Luther Burden, would I do this? Oh, probably not. Probably not. I would stick and see for the upside. And you don't have to wait that long with Luther Burden. You can go like 1 week into the regular season, and this deal would probably still be available to you. Unless Luther Burden gets injured, this deal probably stays available to you. And I say that because on the flip side, if Luther Burden hits in week 1, that value is going to skyrocket. Week 1 is going to really have a lot of sway in the value of Burden, Odunze, and the rest of the Bears. Coming off their year last year, like people want to know, is it Burden or Rome Odunze? And if one of them hits in week 1, I think we're going to see a big value jump in the trade. So I might just hold on to Burden because taking a projected late 28 first in DeAndre Swift does not give you that same sort of upside after a week of the NFL season. So like, even if Burton isn't the guy, I don't think his value plummets enough that you couldn't get this deal. Or at the worst case, you're getting a 28 first in DeAndre Swift and no third round pick. Like, oh no, I don't care if I don't get the third round pick. So I would just hold Luther Burden and wait and see what the future holds. I don't want to wait too far into the season if he's not hitting. But if we're worried about him not being the guy, let's take that shot of 1 week of production and see what happens. Or like even looking at a preseason game. If he has a massive preseason game, you could probably also sell him for more. And if he doesn't perform in the preseason, enough people will say, well, it's the preseason. It doesn't matter. Let's go to Edible Freeze. We're trying to get the next one up on the screen. Does it pop up? There she blows. We've got this next trade, 10 team, 1 quarterback, start 8. We're starting 80 players. This is closer values to a redraft league. Redraft season's coming back. Let's take a look at this trade. We got Breece Hall, Harold Fannin, and a 27 projected early second. And in a 10 team league, that's closer to a first round pick, closer to a tail end first round pick, because we don't have pick 111. We don't have pick 112. Or Roma Dunze, the 101 in this year's draft, and a 28, again, projected late, but that many years out into the future, I don't totally project out first round picks. SK on Twitch saying, is the plumber still there? No, the plumber is gone. Everything is resolved. Everything is resolved. SK, a normal Twitch viewer daily. Let's take a look at this trade. Do we want to move Roma Dunze, the 106, and a 28 first for a projected early second? Like on paper, if we get to 2027, early second round picks are probably worth 28 firsts. But that doesn't mean you should do it now. Let's take a look at the rest of the deal. Are we moving Breece Hall for Roma Dunze? Very similar. 106 for Harold Fannin. There's no tight end premium, so we're probably taking a slight edge to the 106 side. If we're looking at this deal, like whose roster is this? Is this a team moving a 28 first? They have the 106. I'm sticking with the 106. I don't like this idea of, if Breece Hall and Roma Dunze are close in value and Harold Fannin and the 106, or just that package of 4 is close in value, I don't see a reason to swap from a 28 first to a second round pick. If you want to get a tight end, grab it in another way. Like this team is looking for a tight end. They would be pulling in Harold Fannin at the 106, like grab CeeDee. But we're looking at needs for this team. They also could use a running back. I think with the 106, I would be sticking and taking probably not Jadarian Price in a 1 quarterback league. You're looking at Kenyon CeeDee as a tight end to come in with this 106 pick. I'm not loving the deal. The value is feeling like pretty even, but I think I'm going to say I'm sticking with the Roma Dunze side. Deadeye Viking saying live again. We're back Mondays and Wednesdays. Deadeye covering Dynasty questions on the site. We also got a question on YouTube. How do I submit my team for a team review? For a team review, I'll show you. Ryan Martin on YouTube. How do you submit your team for a review? We use a credit system. So for trade questions, any new account gets trade credits submitted to answer their questions. So you create your account at boombustfantasy.com. It's very easy to create your account. We've gone through that demo. We can go through it again if we need to, Ryan. You let me know. But it's pretty straightforward. We've already got the demo system set up with a team logged in. For trade advice, you go to the trade advice page at the top right here. You type it in like any sort of trade calculator. Off to the side, it'll show you how many trade credits you have remaining. And then you just hit request expert review, and that'll add your trade into the queue for our weekly shows. We currently have them on Mondays and Wednesdays. And if we need to, we'll add in more shows or make the shows longer. For team review advice, we also have the team advice tab. We've got some notes here about what you get. That also requires a credit that you can get from the profile page. And then if you hit request team review, it'll add it into the queue, and we'll cover that on the show tonight. We go through your team. We look at your 3-year outlook for the squad that you have. We give you positional breakdowns, ratings of each position on your team. And then we talk about like, hey, are you likely to make the playoffs this year? Are you likely to make the playoffs next year? What does the next few years look like for this Dynasty team? And then we give you some trade suggestions or moves you can make to get you back contending as often as possible. So that is on our website at boombustfantasy.com. It's the same as the TikTok name. It used to be the Twitch name. We've updated that, and it's the same as our YouTube name. We've got a queue of trades that we're working through. Let's jump to the next one. Ray Turners. If you're on the YouTube feed and the Twitch feed, we have our queue moving across the top of the screen. It's scrolling. There's my finger moving along with the player names in the queue. And so I see some trade questions in the TikTok chat. That's where you get those submitted. If you're on our TikTok feed, here is the name of the website. There's just not actually that much space on a phone on TikTok to show all of the information that we have on the other pages. We got Ray Turner's trade up here in the Bros and Beers Dynasty League. It's a 12-team Superflex start 9, full PPR. And as I'm reading this, looks like they submitted this one without players on one side. So we'll move on to the next one. We just put that up there. We did a bunch of talking, and the trade probably looked pretty dumb. Let's get the next one going. Minivan Mafia in East versus West. They are in and out of the chat. We have seen the friendly exchange. If you're on TikTok, that's who this one is. We got Minivan Mafia, 10-team Superflex start 10, PPR half point tight end premium. On one side, we got the 102 and the 204. And on the other side, it says a projected 27 early first. The notes on this trade say the current thought process is take Carnell Tate at 102, Carson Beck at 204. You also hold the 101 where you're planning to take Jeremiah Love. I'm looking at the roster. They have the 101, and they might have made this deal. They might have gone through with this deal. Does it show their roster? I see they have C-Gent, the roster of another. They have the 27 first of another team. Would I move the 102 and a 204 to get what we hope is the future, like very early first round pick? I don't think I want to. Actually, oh, wait. I think this is the team sending the extra first round pick to bring in the 102 this year and the 204. Do I want to bring in the 204? If we're looking at, okay, I think I'm processing this right. We've got Minivan Mafia. They have a 27 projected early first, and they currently have a trade where they could get the 102. I think I'm doing it. There might be some folks who strongly believe that they know who's going to have the 101 in next year's draft in their league. I'd say we don't know that. Last year I was in a league where we thought for sure we knew who was going to be the worst team in the league. They got like pick 5. They had players like Javonte Williams with a big breakout. Quentin Johnston came back and started performing. Some of these players that we thought were left for dead last year just started performing. And a 2026 early first round pick, which we thought was valuable last year. In any given year, early first round picks are valuable. I'm in a league where we thought we knew for sure who was going to have the 101. Nope. This stuff changes. So if I have something, any 27 first that isn't clearly like a team that has no players on it, this team has got to have not a full starting lineup and terrible players, where we need to be 100% sure that it's the number 1 overall. If I can move a 27 first for the 102 this year and more, and the 204, I'm doing it. And then with that 204, do I actually want to make that pick? Not really. with the roster that we're looking at here of like Christian Watson, Jalen Knoll, Adonai Mitchell, maybe a Blake Corum. Can I trade that 204 and Blake Corum for a 27 first? Can I trade that 204 and Christian Watson for a better player closer to a 27 first or just closer to any level of first? I'd be looking to do that. But moving, this team has the 101. They're bringing in Jeremiah Love. So they already have Gibbs and Hampton, and then they're sending a future first, and they still have their own to get Carnell Tate and more. I think I'm fine doing that. I would be happy to do that. Let's take a look. Brad saying, rate this trade. Buddy, we're doing them all the time. We're doing them all the time, Brad. Submit it on our website at boombustfantasy.com. Caleb, how's it going? Just submitted a trade for review. Let me know. Caleb, I don't know exactly which sleeper name is you, but we have got our queue. It just keeps growing. Oh my God. We keep answering trades and it keeps getting longer. I don't know how many trades we've gotten through, but the queue has not gone down at all. We're going to get to them. We have also opened up team reviews. CJ Jonesy, I see you. League of Record, Josh Jacobs, 27 first on one side. I see you. We'll get there. We have also opened up team reviews, and if anybody submits a team review, we will cover that tonight. Got the trade queue. We're going to keep moving. Let's try to go pick up the pace a bit so we can get through more of these. We've been going about half an hour. I don't want to go forever, but we'll go for a couple hours. We got Frelin Don in an 8-team start 12. We had looked at this. No, we looked at this one. We said the trade's on the screen. We've already covered that one. Maybe I got submitted again. The Dylan Brown. Or maybe I didn't close it out. We got the Dylan Brown in a 10-team start 9. PPR, no tight end premium, no TEP. Just a TEP, no thanks. We're starting 90 players each week in this league. We got Omarion Hampton and the 102. That's big dogs. Or CeeDee Lamb, the 108 and a 27 third. I'm feeling the Hampton side. This team has CeeDee Lamb. It says the 108, but they have the 109 when I look at their roster. So if you're looking at their roster on YouTube, on our Twitch feeds, where you can see the roster of the team who submitted that, Ryan Martins with the YouTube sub, that just came through on my end. Thank you very much. It shows them having the 109. The trade is submitted as the 108. 108 versus 109 doesn't matter that much to me. Would I move CeeDee Lamb for Omarion Hampton? I think you should get more than just Hampton. But then the value difference between the 102 and the 108 and a 27 third is just really big. It's really big. So if I need to move CeeDee Lamb, I get to move a 20. Like, yeah, I think we're taking the Hampton side. I'm taking the Hampton side. We got Brayman 786 on the Twitch with the Prime sub. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's coming through. Normally there's a noise that plays. Do I not? Maybe I don't have the noises turned on this feed, but thank you very much. We've got 2 subs on the feed tonight. Thank you, guys. Thank you, boys. Let's keep things moving. Otherwise, we're going to fall behind on these trades. We got Matt Ryan, 2088. The trade is on your screen. We've got their league scoring showed there. If you're on Twitch and YouTube, it's up here. Are we doing this deal? DeAndre Swift for 27 mid-second. The notes on this trade say, don't see Swift as a necessity. Don't have a first next year, trying to go back-to-back. This team they have DeAndre Swift. Are we looking to try to go back-to-back but pick up a 27 second? I do want to add, with Swift, if we're moving them away, like look at the roster that we have here. We have DeAndre Swift. He's not a necessity, but he's probably going to start a few times for you this year. If we don't think he's ever starting for us, sure, we could move him for that 27 second and then maybe pair that second for other things and get a starter. Am I just moving Swift for a second? That's about the price. And I'll say there's a very good chance that next offseason, a 28 second becomes the price, or a 27 second is still, a mid 27 second is still the price for Swift. We don't know, like he's in the last year of his contract with the Bears. DeAndre Swift is not close to retirement. Could he just sign somewhere else and be a starter next year? You know, in 1 year, could he sign somewhere in free agency and be viewed as a decent starter worth a mid to late 27 second? Yeah. So do we just want the production? As the value here feels like even. It's just really, what do we want to do with our team? If you feel like you can take a future random second and turn that into more with other things than you could with DeAndre Swift, go for it. It's June. But if I have a team and I'm trying to go back to back, I also just like having the production. With the roster that we have here of Taylor, Judkins, Saquon Barkley at running back, we don't necessarily need Swift very often. And it's not like we're struggling at other positions. We got Jamar Chase, Puka, Tet McMillan, Mekhi Lemon. I'd probably start DeAndre Swift over Romeo Doubs if we're trying to pick out flexes for certain weeks. But that's really the level that we're looking at in this deal. And the trade value is even. It's just what would you rather have? I don't think you're going to lose value if you hold Swift, but we'll hold there. Greasy Case's hardest working fantasy football content creator in the game. I don't know about that. We're here Mondays and Wednesdays building stuff in the off season. Thank you for saying it. I guess we're actually making a bunch. We post videos every single day on TikTok and YouTube. And then we also post long form Dynasty videos on YouTube on Mondays. And we're probably going to start doing more of them as we get into the summer for redraft stuff. We're working hard. I bet there's people who work harder. Thank you for the kind words. Let's get the next trade on the screen. Pillsbury 1133, Console Kings Dynasty. What are we talking about? PlayStation? We talking about PlayStation? Console Kings Dynasty. Don't sell yourself short. I'll try not to. How are we feeling on this deal? No. 14 team. Okay. I think I know. I've read the players in this trade. I think I know what I'm feeling. 14 team, 1 quarterback, 6-point passing touchdown. Guys, let me know if what we're taking on this side on this trade. Because for me, it's Sam Laporta. I think I'm taking Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta and another player that we could turn into things like Elijah Surratt. That's a 2nd round pick. Sometimes I'll clown on a 2nd round pick, but I'm taking Laporta here. Which side of this? Pillsbury has Harold Fannin. They have. Okay, with Pillsbury's team, you can check it right here. It's a lot of a future value team. 3 27 firsts, 4 27, 5 27 seconds, and then just youth like Jaden Daniels. It's a 1 quarterback league, so we don't really need to go much further than Jaden Daniels. And then nothing really at running back. Mike Washington, Caleb Johnson, a couple of receivers. This is really a class going for 2027. Are we moving Harold Fannin for Sam Laporta? I think this is just a value win. In this league, it's a 14-team league, so there's 13 other guys. One of them likes Laporta more than Fannin. I think this is just the Laporta side. And if people in your league don't agree, picking up Elijah Surratt makes up any difference. I would have these guys like very close in value, but probably taking Laporta over Fannin. Let's keep stuff moving. We got Rude Dude 02, just a bit offsides. It's the league. The trade is coming up on the screen. It's a big one. I did not realize how big this one was until I looked at it on my version of the TikTok feed and it started covering up my face. These take a while for me to internalize and then send out. Rude Dude 02 in a 10-team, 1 quarterback, start 8. It's 80 players a week get started. That is a shallower league. Shallow leagues aren't bad. I just say that because we should change the way we think about player scoring or player values, excuse me. So we've got the 102, Tyler Warren, Christian McCaffrey. Are we moving these things for 27 and 28 first? The 109 in this year's draft, Rashee Rice, Matthew Golden, and David Montgomery. Sometimes in these bigger deals, what I like to do, and I say this all the time, so you might know where I'm going, is can we start to just go 1 for 1 and cross things out on either side? Or do we see obvious ways to cross things out? They don't have to be perfectly close on value, but if we say like Rashee Rice and Tyler Warren, or Rashee Rice and Montgomery, and then we cross out Tyler Warren? Does the rest of the deal start to become clear what the answer is? Like, are we moving McCaffrey for the 109? It's probably a little bit more. We probably want a little bit more for McCaffrey. McCaffrey for a 27 first. Let's see. Which team is this? This is the McCaffrey side sending in this trade. Are we sending McCaffrey in the 102 and Tyler Warren to get Rice, Golden, Montgomery, 109, and some extra firsts? The notes say we're looking to try to grab some assets. The guy is super high on Warren and Christian McCaffrey and has come in second 2 years in a row and wants to win now. They don't seem super high on McCaffrey and Warren. This feels like we're just paying the price for McCaffrey and Warren. We got Brayman saying, give me Rice. I'm a Rice believer. It's big. It's big. All right. I need to stop yapping and start looking and thinking more. Can I think it out loud? I try to. Are we doing... Can we find some? How long Christian McCaffrey really got left from Brayman? That's true. That's true. Does this team have a shot at competing? Like, it's a 10-team, one quarterback. We got Burrow, Cook, Taylor, McCaffrey, Chase, Lamb, DJ Moore. Like, this team can contend right now. This team can contend. We would add in Carnell Tate with the second round, with the 102, and Tyler Warren. Like, what on the general concept here of looking to grab assets? Why? It's a 10-team start 8. If we look at this team and let's count out the 8 players, like, you can see the team here. Joe Burrow, 1. Cook, Taylor, McCaffrey. We're at 4 of our 8 starters. Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. We're at 6. Tyler Warren has to start at tight end, and then DJ Moore or Carnell Tate. And we're up to 8. Like, that is a great starting 8. So is there a reason to grab assets? This seems probably a playoff team. Is there a reason to punt for 27 and 28 first? And then the 109 in this league is probably not that good. Bring in David Montgomery. I like Rashee Rice. Am I looking to do this? Not really. Not really. There's a very good chance, like Matthew Golden, David Montgomery, and who you take at the 108, just don't play that much for a long time in a league this shallow. Because this is a deeper league, like, give me the upside of Tyler Warren to be the a very good in-slot tight end. Christian McCaffrey still performing for you this year. He doesn't have that much left, but, like, go for it this year. This is a contending team. I don't see a reason to push the contending window for the roster that we have here. I'm saying stick with McCaffrey, Warren, and the 102, or make a different deal that helps you contend more this year, rather than pushing for a 27 and a 28 first. And then the 109, I'm not in love with a lot of the guys at 109. Let's make sure we're not falling behind. We got people in the TikTok, in the Twitch, in the YouTube with some messages. Let's regroup on them. Let me make sure this one is submitted. It is. Let's clear that overlay, refresh this on my end. Let's see, Brayman, we covered those. SK, Jerry Rice, let's go. He's old. TPQR, what is going on? How have I been? Stressed. Nervous, stressed, nervous. That's how. Otherwise good. Thank you. ZPiv, you got 3 trades in the queue. If you want to disregard the closest one, you'll let me know, ZPivy. Oh, disregard the... If you want to disregard the closest one, you can, since the later 2 are updated trade offers. Okay, disregard the one from 3 days ago. If you want me to, we can. And then we'll hit the ones from 10 hours ago. We could do that. We got LB 65, 650,000 Sam Laporta bounce back. I think so. I think we're going to get a bounce back. ZPivot, yeah, we can disregard that one. And then let me send that one back to you, ZPivy. Let me find a way to send that back to you, because we have moved on. We'll also use this as an opportunity. Let me make some notes, some customer service notes. ZPIV EY 13. Let me add a trade credit back for you afterwards, ZPivot, because we have entered into the phase of we're getting out of the free trade, the free all trade questions being free. Going forward, any account created on our website, boombustfantasy.com for a while is going to be given some trade credits to get started on the site. We do have team reviews as something going forward. We've covered some in the past. We are out of the team review testing period. We now have the site set up to take payments for team reviews. Same thing with extra trade credits on top. If you make your account on the website right now, you just get trade credits to keep the questions flowing. But if you're looking to have your whole team brought up on screen and we talk through how we view the positions that you have, the players that you have, the outlook for your team for the next few years, and then some suggested moves to make to keep you contending as often as possible, that is available through our website, boombustfantasy.com. We've got a trade queue right now of 22. It's starting to slow down. We're keeping up. It's shot up to 26, 27 at times. We've got this one from Mayors 99. And show us your TDs. Is that titties? We talking titties? Show us your TDs. It's a 10-team, 1 quarterback, 6-point passing touchdown league. Start 8. So we're starting 80 guys a week. 1 quarterback. Let's take a look at this. Also, Brybear, I don't think I responded to your message of how have you been. I've been really well. Thank you, Brybear. I remember Brybear. It's a fun one to say. Brayman, you missed one of the team reviews. Really? Because we were only doing maybe. Okay, I think I know what's going on. Brayman, for the past couple weeks, we've only been doing team reviews as people were there. Any existing team review, we closed out. We said it multiple times over the past couple of weeks. Hey, team reviews anywhere you go are a paid product. Brayman is saying you did mine, but it wasn't in. It's very likely that it was just marked as closed. It's very likely that it's just marked as closed. What we were saying over the past couple of weeks are anywhere you go, team reviews are a paid product. And for us, that will not be different. And that is now. We have now pivoted from covering them for free on the stream for people who are here to, if you submit a team review request on our site as a paid product, we'll get to it like ASAP and get it done for you with a full link for there. Brayman, you was there for that. Yeah, any ones that were submitted, we have just closed out. And then over the weekend, we'll send out an email explaining if you had one of a free team review, the free team reviews were just, hey, we will do these if you're here as a testing, but we're not going to do it. There was no guarantee that any one of every single one of them submitted was going to be covered. With trade reviews, we've been on free credits for a while. We'll cover every trade question that gets through, and then more trade credits are available on top of that. Let's get done on this trade. Myers 99. We covered some of the scoring on this one. It's a shallower league. We've got some notes here. Bit of drama in the league recently. A trade was accepted for Jamar. They're saying, is that this trade? Jamar, Ladd, a 27 second, a 27 third, a 28 first. Okay, so someone sent Ladd McConkey, a 27 second, a 27 third, and a 28 first for Jamar Chase and a 29 second, and it was vetoed. And that's the first trade they've seen vetoed. Okay, just a little bit of notes on here. Let me know that Chase was available. I sent Neighbors, Tyson, and a 29 first for Chase, Jonathan Brooks, and was countered with this trade. I accepted, wanting to go all in. It's a free league. League Safe isn't available in the UK as far as this person knows. Thoughts on the veto and the trade? Trades shouldn't get vetoed. Trades should not be vetoed in general. If you are playing fantasy football, if you're playing Dynasty fantasy football, do a little bit of vetting with the managers coming into your league. Have they played fantasy football before? In general, other than extreme situations, I don't veto trades. No league that I'm in there's very extreme situations. The general rule of thumb I have is I don't veto trades. And if I reverse a trade, someone is leaving the league. So that's my general thoughts on vetoes. We're kicking someone out of the league if we have to. If a trade is getting undone, we're probably undone like by my choice, by force as the commissioner. We're probably removing someone from that league. Otherwise, trades go through. The game of fantasy football is not sports betting. We're not trying to predict the future. It's closer to like sales. It's closer to negotiation. So if someone gets a great deal on a player and you're upset, that's on you. That's on you. You didn't reach out and try to acquire that. The notes of this trade say they saw a cheap trade for Jamar Chase and it let them know Jamar Chase was available. Again, like be asking in your league, hey, is this player available? So we've got in this deal, are we sending Jordan Tyson, Malik Neighbors, and a 27 first? Oh, it says a projected early 27 first. Are we sending Jordan Tyson, Malik Neighbors, and a 27 first for Jamar Chase and Javonte Williams? I don't think this is an amazing steal this is definitely not vetoable. We got Chris Leva on the YouTube saying, I like it. I happen to know Chris Leva in real life and know that he does not know who any of these players are. So thank you, Chris, for supporting Chris, a real life friend of mine. But even with things like maybe this one, like NOR, I don't think Chris knows what team NOR is. So thank you, Chris, for supporting without knowing anything about fantasy football. What are we doing on this trade? Because if we break this down, Jamar Chase for Malik Neighbors in a first, it's like right in that range. And then Jordan Tyson or Javonte Williams, like give me Jordan Tyson over Javonte Williams. I think Tyson and Lemon are just undervalued right now as early rookie wide receivers. But as I look at the scoring, nope, I take it back. I take it back. This is the reason that we look at league scoring. It's a 10-team, one quarterback start 8. It's the Jamar Chase side. If we're in a deeper league, 12 teams start 10, there's nothing wrong with the size of your league, but you should take that into account with your scoring. Jamar Chase starts to clear because he's clearly the best player in the league and probably one of the most valuable assets in this league. 10-team, one quarterback. So if you're in a super flex league and you're like, man, we're really hyped on Josh Allen, I don't give a shit about Josh Allen in this league. It's a 10-team, one quarterback league. He's not nearly at the same level of value. All the value that Josh Allen loses and the value that gets lost from players further down the line in this league, like DeAndre Swift in a 10-team start 8, we don't really care about that guy. That value doesn't go away into the ether. You have to take that and assign it elsewhere. And it goes to guys like Jamar Chase. So if we're in a deeper league, this starts to feel pretty even, where we could see taking the Tyson side. But if it's just 10-team, 8 starters each week, the way that you assign value to players is based on the amount of points you expect they'll score compared to bench level players, compared to other starters, compared to replacement level players. And if those replacement level players, so when we're saying that, we're saying like the example I gave of DeAndre Swift, he's not scoring more than anyone. So he doesn't hold much value. All that value goes to Jamar Chase, who is going to give you a value difference. It's easier to find replacement level players in this league. So someone like Javonte Williams, who could be a RB2 or worse, they become more replaceable. So I'm taking the Jamar Chase side. I almost slipped on that one. That's a shallow league one. The reason we say like, hey, you got to submit your trades through the site is so we can see the league scoring easily. Because people don't always give that to us, and I'm slipping on it. Kyle Wells with the follow on TikTok. Also, Michael with the TikTok follow. Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss. Here we go. 10-team start 11. Am I pitting out? I feel like I'm about to be. There we are. That's the level of professionalism here. I feel like I'm starting to sweat. Let me turn up the AC. Maybe that'll help. We got Z Pivy. Oh, this is the one that you said to move on from. So we'll call that one. This is when you said to skip them because you have future ones. We won't forget. And then we'll credit you a trade credit on that one. Is this... Let me open up this one, do a little bit of housekeeping. And while we do that housekeeping, let's get G Baby Davy 12 and his trade up. G Baby Davy. Patrick Schaefer on the TikTok chat says Marvin Harrison Jr. for a 27 first. We'll never know. Just kidding. We can know, but you have to submit your trades through our website, Marvin. We don't just pull them from the chat. We don't pull them from the chat. We submit them through the website. All right, G Baby Davy. And what do we say on this one? Closing out a bit of housekeeping on another trade so that it stops showing up in the queue. There was one that we talked about, but I did not click review on. It's submitting. It's going. All right, that one's done. Just did some housekeeping. Didn't show it for you. I apologize. Mike Reed, thank you for the likes on the live. Not as great as calling out the likes on the fantasy football streaming as we are with the gaming streaming, but thank you, Mike. TikTok doesn't always show you when someone likes the live. It like pops it up and then disappears it. So we don't get that as a feed to thank everyone. So we call them as we see them. G Baby Davy has a trade question per se. In a 10-team Superflex, start 10. So we're starting 100 players a week, half point per reception. That's fine. That's a normal point per reception. And then a 0.75 tight end premium. We get a bit of a boost to the tight ends. No tight ends in this deal. What are we doing here? We got Amon-Ra in a second for Rome, Marv, and a 27 first. I think I'm just sticking with Amon-Ra. I don't know how a second round pick got added in here. If we are in a league, yeah, this one's the Amon-Ra side for me. Let's break it down. 10 teams start 10, so we're starting 100 players a week. My default scoring, if you've watched any of my TikTok videos, they all actually are based on a 12-team start 10 scoring, which I think the most common scoring that we see in our trade questions end up in that range. If we're looking at that range, we're saying, I want 3 firsts for Amon-Ra St. Brown. So 3 firsts for Amon-Ra would be Rome, Marv, and a 27 first. That's 1, 2, 3. Done. That's about the price on Marv right now, is just a random 27 first you could get for him from someone in your league, in almost any league. There are going to be some leagues where no one will. But in general, what we're seeing in the database for Rome, for Marv, is you can get a 27 first. So if we're saying I want 3 firsts for Amon-Ra, and you're getting 3 firsts, why do we have to include a 27 second? Like, why do I have to pay more to get to the 3 firsts? I shouldn't have to if you have Amon-Ra. And then it's a slightly more shallow league. Like, Amon-Ra is just more valuable. It's even less that we should be including a 27 second on Amon-Ra. It should be a 27 second on the other side of this deal. Like Odunze, Marv, a 27 first and a 27 second to get you close to even starting for Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I don't know that I would do it. I'm taking Amon-Ra here. Next one in the queue. Dear Lord, we're not even making a dent. We're cruising through them. 19 is where we're at in the queue, right? 19 trades in the queue. We're getting into ones submitted today. We got Greasy K saying, Chris, that's a real friend. Shout out to Chris. Camera guy Chris in the YouTube chat. Ooh. We'll get to you, camera guy. We'll cover this trade and then we'll get to you. We got Everett's dad. Shout out to Everett and his dad. Everett's dad is in a Coast to Coast Dynasty League. That's the name of it. That's just the name of it. In a 10-team Superflex start 10, 100 players started each week. Superflex, half-point PPR, half-point tight end premium. Are we sending Amon-Ra St. Brown for? It's a very similar deal to the one that we just looked at. This is very close to Amon-Ra St. Brown for 3 firsts. And it is a similar level of league. Zay Flowers is probably going to get you a 27 first plus. And then you get a 28 and Ty Simpson. This person has Amon-Ra St. Brown. Do we need to, does this team make sense on value? Sort of. Sort of. Like it hits the requirements. 3 firsts. Everything in this deal is probably going to go up in value over the years. I don't know that I want to do it. If I'm looking at the team here, you can see the team. We get most of our viewers through the TikTok feed, but you can see the full team of the person who submitted this question on YouTube and on Twitch. There's just more screen space. We're running out of screen space here. I can barely fit my big head above some of these trades with notes saying where to submit things. And then past this, I think even some of this gets covered up on the TikTok feed, and below the trade is the chat. We're out of space. But on YouTube and on Twitch, you can see the full roster of the person who submitted this trade. Are we sending Amon-Ra for this? If we're trying to start a rebuild, and I'm scanning this, I don't have the full league in front of me. If we're scanning Amon-Ra St. Brown and saying, like, it's time to start rebuilding and getting younger, with a trade like this one, like with a team like this, where we have Jonathan Brooks, we have Tony Pollard, these guys that still have value this year, if we're starting to punt to the future for Ty Simpson and 28 firsts, you got to get paid out on J.K. Dobbins, on Tony Pollard. You got to get someone to pay you that full price for those guys. And I'd like to get that full price kind of added in with Amon-Ra St. Brown to make the return package better. So just on principle of like, this is not how I would start to retool for the future. And I don't know. I don't know that I love this one. I don't know that I love this one. I think the value adds up. This probably lights up a trade calculator. I don't think I'm doing it. I'm sticking with Amon-Ra St. Brown for just like the opportunity cost of you could get more. You could make a better deal. The way that this is set up is leaving stuff on the table is probably the best way to say that. All right, then we got some questions in the chat. Like Tyler Huber, how many firsts is Loveland worth? Like 2. It's going to depend on the size of your league, Tyler. It'll depend on the tight end premium settings in your league. Tyler, we'll have a video of, I'm positive we have a video on TikTok of Colston Loveland, and I would guess that we say how many firsts he's worth in there. So you can search that one on TikTok. It might be easier to search those on YouTube. We post the same TikTok shorts to YouTube, which is probably easier to search than TikTok. I think more people search on YouTube. Bry Bear, not a Dynasty question. Sorry. No sorries. We'll cover it. Bry Bear. I see Bry Bear still in the chat. What do we think of Marvin Ladd next year? I don't make that many declarations going forward. With Marvin Harrison, a ton of stuff is changing. Going into next year, he'll be with a different starting quarterback than he was with last year. Like they started with Kyler. They now will have Jacoby Brissett, who's holding in some. It's a new head coach. How do they handle things? New running back. This is a team that had one of the worst running back rooms in the league last year. Like that does affect an offense. You need to be like offenses. A car needs all 4 tires. Like you do need a running game. When you don't have one, things look weird. If you don't have all 4 tires on your car, things look weird. There was a day I was sitting at my desk and a car came screaming down the street with 3 tires dragging the metal on the road. It makes a ton of noise. The car doesn't look right. That's kind of what the Cardinals were last year. They just didn't have a running back, and now they will. So there's a ton of change. So when the question is like, what do we think of Marv for the next year? Man, I don't know. It's a huge wide range of outcomes. Does a new coach come in and make him the great star he was supposed to be? It's possible. It's possible. I'm probably not drafting him until like, I'll probably have him outside my top 20 wide receivers for next year though, in redraft. I don't have full redraft rankings. I haven't looked a ton at redraft ADP, but he has not been a top 20 receiver yet in his career. So I'll probably be able to name 20 guys that I would rather have or feel better about their value throughout the year than Marv. And then Ladd, I probably like Ladd to bounce back a little bit more than Marv because we've seen him do it. So I would probably end up drafting Ladd ahead of Marv this year. And I expect a bit of a bounce back for Ladd. Let's take a look at the next trade. We got Caleb Waguna, goated Dynasty League, 10-team, 1 quarterback, start 8. Actually, we said we would I read something from the chat and my brain thought I said I would read something from the chat and that I did, but it was not the right thing. So it's not a wrong thing. I just forgot that camera guy Chris had a question on YouTube. It was more of a general Dynasty question, not a trade. I don't think so. Thoughts on 2029 picks? I'm trying to negotiate a trade in a rebuild. He doesn't have 27 firsts. What do you think would be fair add on if you get a 29 first since you're waiting for 3+ years? Probably like DeAndre Swift, really starting to get into that range of a player. Swift are like multiple seconds. If you think you should be getting a 27 first, there's not that many 29 firsts moving in trades so far from what I've been looking at. You know, I batch record a lot of the daily trade videos. I don't see a lot of 29 firsts moving for players. If you have to wait that long, like you got to get a decent chunk on top, like a startable, tradable player that's going to get you to a second and more easily. So that's the example I give is like DeAndre Swift in your league. You can move DeAndre Swift for a 27 second. It's just in most leagues, you'll be able to. So I want someone that I know for sure I can move at their full value. Doesn't have to be high value. It's just you need to know that you can move them. Like Ramondre Stevenson is probably harder to move, as an example. Let's go to Dynasty trade. The next one comes in from Caleb. Colston Loveland or Brock Bowers? Okay, we can talk about this. If you're looking at the trade on your screen, we're not going to talk about it long. And we're not actually going to talk about the specific trade for a long time because I think we all agree. It's a 10-team, 1 quarterback start 8. If you don't agree on this trade, let me know. But I think we all are taking Brock Bowers in this deal. And we'll talk about this trade because someone submitted it. Maybe they forgot to put on a piece. It's probably likely that the Colston Loveland side had something else that this person didn't submit. But we're taking the Brock Bowers side. And like we were saying when we were talking with Brybear about the future of Marv and the future of Lad, I don't make that many declarations about what's going to happen next year. I like to keep a range of outcomes and then play within that range. So on this trade, I'm not even saying we know Brock Bowers is going to score more points than Colston Loveland, but I am going to say 99% of players would rather have Brock Bowers and would give you Colston Loveland add more for Brock Bowers. And when we know that, you can't do a trade like this. You can't like focus 36, 617 is saying better quarterback. Doesn't, like, with respect, doesn't fucking matter. Brock Bowers has scored way more fantasy points with terrible quarterbacks. Like, it's just a bad take to say better quarterback. Does not matter. Everyone in your league will give you way more for Brock Bowers. If you have Loveland and you can get Brock Bowers for him for nothing, you do it because you could then just trade Brock Bowers for way, 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 way more. It's Brock Bowers. It's not close. And I'm going to assume that someone left something out on this trade. Dewey, what's up, Dewey? Dewey on Twitch Sports. Have a good stream. Thank you, Dewey, for popping in. We will be back tomorrow on Twitch, 9:30 to 3 o'clock Central Time. We do play games during the day on Twitch. If you're looking to watch us game it out, we are the world's best gamer. Best gamer in the world, actually. Right here. And we'll be gaming out. Let's move on to the next deal or the next trade. This comes from Kenny the Kid. What's up, Kenny? Kenny the Kid's got a trade question. 10-team Superflex. Start 11, half-point tight end premium, half-point PPR. I see a one from Crispy Blanco. We'll look at it. 10-team Superflex. Start 11. What are we doing in this deal? I haven't even looked at it. I should look at it right now and then say, what are we doing? On one side, Omari and Hampton. Big player. On the other side, Cam Ward, Kyle Monangai, and a 27 projected early second. I'm taking Hampton here. Let's take a look at the rosters. This is from the I don't see Cam Ward or Kyle Monungai. Oh, I see Kyle Monungai, but no Cam Ward on this team. So maybe some other trades have happened in the past day. You can see the roster of the person who submitted the trade in this league, Kenny the Kid. Maybe they linked the wrong league for this trade because in this league, they don't have Cam Ward. Maybe they made a different deal in the past 24 hours. In general, am I moving Cam Ward, Monungai in a second for Hampton? Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely upside with Monungai, and a 27 second could be a good player. Projecting future picks, I don't love to do. So when we're saying it's an early second, like an early second next year, I will value probably decently highly, but I don't like to project that out and say, I know I'm getting one. I'm taking Hampton here. Cam Ward, like for the next big breakout, I hope it is, but he's not going to run. I don't know how great Cam Ward is going to be. Like, is he ever better than, I think the realistic ceiling for Cam Ward is like what Jordan Love has been recently. He's not going to run. We're looking for a pocket passer who's, we hope, if he hits 30 touchdowns, that's a great year, but he's probably mid 25s. That's just pretty replaceable in fantasy. And what Omarion Hampton is going to do is not easily as replaceable. Give me Hampton here. I stopped talking because this is sending the review through. Review submitted. Done. We've got some follow-ups like, or we said we would come to Crispy Blanco. Was hoping to get your overall thoughts. I have Josh Allen and I've been shopping him. It feels very hard to get back what he's actually worth. What would you want for Allen in a 4-team super flex full PPR? We're going to want a lot. We do have our normal daily videos of what would you want for these guys. Like Josh Allen's going to be one of the most valuable pieces. If no one wants to pay you what he's worth, you just got to hold him. You just got to hold him. So I'd say like Blanco, the chat, that chat message came in through YouTube. Check out the most recent. I'm sure you could search YouTube or search our page for our most recent Josh Allen video. I don't think it's that old. And his value hasn't really changed this offseason. So check that one out for a range of what you're looking for in trades. But in the situation where people aren't giving you what he's worth, like you just got to hold him. And it's a bummer. I like making trades, but it's a bummer. K-Walls, have we done team reviews yet tonight? We haven't had any come through. So team reviews have pivoted from what we had been doing. K-Walls, one, how you doing? I'm in a league with K-Walls. One, how you doing? Two, in the past couple weeks, we've been saying like, oh, what up, Wyatt? That we've been saying, hey, we'll do team reviews. We're doing them as demos, but anywhere you go, team reviews are a paid product, and that will not change for us. And it has changed in the fact that we've now pivoted from doing them as demos to team reviews are available for purchase on the website at boombustfantasy.com. On your profile page, you can acquire a team review credit, and we'll do team reviews as they come through. They just are not coming through. They just have not come through. So if we want to do team reviews, we can pivot right to that. It's just they're not. We have been doing some demo free ones to iron out the process, get that going. And what we were saying was we're only going to do those for people who are here, and we're only going to do a very limited amount, and that has come and gone. So none of them come through. And Scoob, typical Bears homer. Typical beer homer. Typical beer homer, Scoob. The map buys are getting a 500 error on the website when clicking on Get Started and My Team tab. Are you on your phone, Matt? The most recent issues that we've seen from people have been on the phone. If you're seeing those on a desktop, Control-Shift-R should clear the cache. Well, we've been nixing those as we find them. I don't know what it is on the phone that's causing it to be different, but on desktop, it should go right through for you. Let's take a look at the next trade. VP Calv. KSE Dynasty. And as this one loads, Sam Bronk says, what's Travis Hunter worth pick-wise? I'm sure we covered Travis Hunter in the last month. Check out we have TikTok videos of him. Sam Bronk And those same ones are available on YouTube. You can search for Travis Hunter Dynasty Value on YouTube, and it should show us as a YouTube short for real trades that have happened. I don't like to just jump in and say, here's what I think he's worth. Like, we pull real trades that have gone through. Tyler Huber, how do you send your team in? Okay, we got some people. Let's do this trade, and then we'll show how to get your team submitted for a team review. VP Calvin, a 10-team Superflex start 90 players across the league, not each team. It's start 9. Each team starts 9, 10 teams, 90 players. A little bit shallower is what I was trying to say. We don't have to beat around the bush. I can just say it. Team 1, since Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, we got big boys. You looking for big boys? We got big boys. Jefferson, Taylor, and Warren, that's a big boy trade. On the other side, you get Emeka Ibuka, Tet McMillan, Judkins, and Pitts. Oh. There's no tight end premium. So we got Warren and Pitts in here. They're not as valuable as like the boom bust leagues that we play in. Are we doing this? Realistically, just startup ADP, I feel like Taylor and Tet are going to be pretty close to each other. Are we sending Emeka Ibuka and Judkins for Jefferson? I feel like we are. Which side of this deal does this person have? They have Ibuka. So let's pull, if you're on the Twitch, the YouTube page, you can see, or the feeds, you can see the trade of the person submitting this question. They've got Burrow, Love. I won't read it all for the folks on the TikTok. You can always check out Boom Bust Fantasy on YouTube. I think I'm Boom Bust Jack on Twitch. You can check out the full roster because it's a lot of stuff to read. And I just cannot fit it on the TikTok screen. The phone's just ain't big enough. This phone ain't big enough for the both of us, me and the team. So this team has Ibuka. Ibuka's their 4th receiver. I think they would also be moving Tet. This is just like a consolidation going from 4 to 3. How do we feel about it? We're losing some youth with Tet, with Judkins, with Ibuka, 3 guys from last year, moving to Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson. Do we have enough youth elsewhere? Jesus Christ, did you have every rookie from last season, VP Calv? Did you have every rookie from last season? You got Genty, Hampton, Judkins, Tet, Ibuka, and Gadsden. That's all of them. So not all of them, not every rookie, but a bunch of them. Going for a veteran, like all in play. Is this a decent trade? I think so. Same error on PC after Matt Meister. Okay, Matt Meister, we'll look into it. How are we feeling on this one? We're looking at how does it fit for this team? I think I could do it. Kyle Pitts, Gadsden as your tight end, you get a better tight end. We think it's a better tight end. We think it's a higher value tight end with Tyler Warren. Judkins bumping up to Jonathan Taylor. We think it's better production. It's definitely not for sure better value. Which side of this deal am I taking? If I have all of these rookies with a lot of upside, or these second-year players, am I doing this move? Up to Jefferson, 27 years old. Jonathan Taylor, I think he's 27 as well. I don't know that I am. If we're moving up with stuff like this, I mean, Tyler Warren is probably the young player on the 3-player side. I kind of just want to have some upside on the young player side. I'm going to call this one pretty even and say, like, I'm probably not do it. 10 teams start 9, tweaks it. But I don't know that we are getting that much more stuff shoved into our lineup. Like, Oh No says, I'll take the Justin Jefferson side if I can compete this year. They can compete this year. You can see, oh no, if you're on Twitch and YouTube, you can see their roster. Like, it could compete. They have Jamar Chase. So we're looking for Jefferson to make the receiving better. Maybe Jonathan Taylor paired with Genty and Hampton. It's probably not a horrible deal. It would be Jamar Chase, Jefferson, and London as their top 3 receivers. This feels like we're committing a lot, and I don't actually know that this is going to Here's a better way to say my thoughts. I've been thinking on this one. I don't feel compelled to just jump in and do it. What I'll say, let's see, the Matt Meister, you'd stick with Justin Jefferson side either way. You think you could get more for that trio? Maybe the way I'm viewing this one, this team is probably making the playoffs with either side. Either side. Like, it's a solid team. We got Burrow. It's a super flex. Burrow, Love, and Cam Ward as starters. Good enough. Genty, Hampton, Judkins are currently on this team. You're taking the top side easy, says Nikki Feathers. Then maybe we'll go with the top side. This one feels close to me, and I don't know that making this deal drastically improves your championship odds, just with the way that the playoffs work. So if we're holding some of that youth, sometimes I go to chat and I'll say that I'll go with it. I'm fine with taking the top side. I don't know that I necessarily would or that you need to, but I could take the top side. Jefferson, Taylor, and Warren. All right, we're on to Z Pivy's deals. Oh, no. We said we'd look at. Let's go through. Who is this? Who is that? Tyler saying, how do you submit your team? Well, let's look at it right now. Okay. Oh, come here. I just have to reset the demo. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Here is our website. It is boombustfantasy.com. If you're watching on TikTok, same name on TikTok. Tyler Huber says, I like holding on to the youth in that trade. I felt like it was close. I think I like the youth, but I can't. If other people in the chat are saying they like the value on the other side, we should respect that you could get more in a trade. If a lot of chat is saying you can get more in a trade, that's a pretty good sign that those people would make a bigger trade. Here's our website. If you want to submit your team, just your Dynasty team, your league scoring, and say, what do I do? We offer that on our website. We also offer the trade questions that we've been covering on our website, boombustfantasy.com. If you make an account, make your account, sync your sleeper league. Let's talk through how you do that and what you get for doing it. On the account page, on our homepage, you can click Get Started. It is as easy as clicking Continue with Google. Like we've got. Oh, nope. I was seeing something in chat that it looked like someone was making asking a trade question. It is as easy on our site to make your account as clicking Continue with Google. I'm on Chrome. I'm logged in with my Gmail. If you click Continue with Google, I just clicked it. There it goes. Done. It just took a minute to go through. It's one click to create your account. Once you have that created, you just type in your sleeper username. Where you have your Dynasty leagues, just what's your username? You just type it. It goes to the API and it just pulled all of these. It pulled it as fast as that. These aren't synced. It just went and pulled. Here's every league that I am in on sleeper.com. And then for the website, it shows you a team. It shows you a league. You just have to pick, hey, which one do you want to see first? I'm in this many leagues. I think currently it's 20. We'll take a look at Boom Bust 4, a league we started last off season. You click continue, and then it's going to ask, do you want to connect to Discord? For the demo, we hit skip. But for you guys, if you want to connect to our Discord and ask questions in our Discord chat, it will send your trade questions with your league. It'll send a link back to your league roster so people can see, this is the scoring. This is the team I have. You don't have to type it out. Once you have done that, if you just want to, this was for Tyler, how do you submit your team for review? You just click team advice on the homepage. We've got trade advice where you can submit your trade questions. You could type them in like any trade calculator and then click request expert review. And that's going to add that trade into the queue for our live shows, or you can hit team advice. We use a team review credit system that you can get through the profile page. You can also just click right here where it says how many team review credits you have and hit request team review. It'll add it into the queue and we'll jump right to it. We'll talk about, hey, what do we think this team is going to do for the next few years? What are some moves you can make to set yourself up for the most success over the next couple years? So that is how you get that submitted. Maddie Chugs, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Maddie, I would love to be chugging. This is the final beer we have in the house, so we're gonna make it last. We're gonna make it last. Oh no, thank you for the follow. Oh yeah. Oh, no? Oh, yeah. That is how you get your team submitted for a team review. And we'll get right to it as they come through. I'm looking at the queue right now. I don't see any in there. We would skip right to it. We got Z Pivy with the trade that we said we would get to. Z Pivy. All right, we've got 10 team Superflex, start 11. We've got some notes here saying I would be receiving JMO in a third in this. You don't have to type which side you'd be receiving. We can see it. Both picks would realistically be around the same draft spot since we have similar teams. So we would be sending Tootin and a second for Jameson Williams and a third. This team has Bijan and Jonathan Taylor. Do we need Bashal Tootin? We have David Montgomery to cover running back for this spot. Would I swap Tootin and a second for Jameson Williams and a third? Oh no, is saying the Tootin side clears. I think I'm fine clearing for the Jameson Williams side. Jameson Williams was like wide receiver 12 last year when all things were said and done on the season. He signed to a long-term deal with Detroit. Dan Campbell, head coach as a play caller last year, was getting the ball to Jameson Williams. Like the head coach wants to get the ball to him and has shown that he will fire an offensive coordinator to make it happen. That's how I read last year. Last offseason, I wasn't that hyped on Jameson Williams, but right now, if I have Bashal Tootin, I think you might be able to get more for Tootin. I'll say that. Second round pick for a third. You might be able to get more for Tootin. Colton, the website's down. That could just be too many people hitting it right now. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I will pivot and take a look at that. We'll cover this trade and then we'll pivot and take a look. So we would receive JMO in a third. Both picks would realistically be around the same draft spot. I think if we're just looking at securing future value, Jameson Williams is, in my mind, likely to have more. I could see Tootin not maintaining the job going through this year. Brayman is saying the site is working for you. We'll take a look at some of the diagnostics that we have. I'm going to call this one pretty even. Even with, if Chad is saying they like Tootin side, like there is a real market for Tootin. Mays is saying a breakout year coming for Jameson Williams. He already did last year. This is feeling down the middle for me. Like I don't feel a call to a particular side. Chad is going both ways, which is just a gauge of the market of, that is sometimes how you gauge a trade. Just ask a ton of people which side they would rather be on. Who's going to give you more value this year? I could see it being Jameson Williams in scoring. He was a wide receiver 1 last year. He's probably going to be a mid wide receiver 2 with some week winning performances. And I don't know for sure that we're going to get that from Bashal Tootin. So that's my word on it. We've got people on chat saying both sides. Matty Chug saying, give me the known commodity. Caleb saying, how many in the queue on the TikTok chat? The queue is showed on YouTube and Twitch. Right now, it says 15. It says 15 with Caleb's. It also shows you each person where they are in the chat on Twitch and YouTube. We just can't put it all on TikTok. Maze is saying the site is working, or Brayman is saying the site is working for you. Let me see if I have any diagnostics here. Yeah, I am. Let me take a look at this. Huh. Can I solve this right now? Or is there a bigger issue? I do see some errors coming through in the logs. Just refreshing here. Am I just getting an issue with... I'm not positive why people might be running into issues on this site. We're checking the diagnostics here. Let's send this off to someone else and keep things moving. Christopher Shaheen saying rebuild it. Rebuild, traded Lamb for Neighbors. That's generally the swap over price. The swap over price. Z Pivy saying you're 50-50 on it either. You see potential with both sides. I think we've seen, the thing that I've seen from the chat messages that I definitely agree with is we've seen Jameson Williams do it. I know he was slow to start last year. Like looking back on the last year, the recap of it has been they hired a new offensive coordinator. I don't want to already be forgetting his name. Was it Bob Morton last offseason? There's a bunch of Bob Mortons. Lions. What was this guy's name? John Morton. Last offseason, they hired John Morton to replace Ben Johnson. John Morton came in and said, we're going to force feed Jameson Williams. And then that guy who said he was going to do that thing did not. Dan Campbell took over play calling, started force feeding Jameson Williams, and then they fired Morton and brought in someone else. But at the end of the year, Jameson Williams was, am I getting this right? Was he wide receiver 12? Someone in chat, let me know. In PPR scoring, he was in that range between 10 and 14, 10 and 15. Like started really slow in the first half. Then Dan Campbell took back play calling and Jameson Williams had a great second half. So yeah, to Z Pivy, he was wide receiver 12. Like he did it. Mays saying breakout year coming. Like that's as much of a breakout as you're probably going to get from the second wide receiver on any team. And I don't see Jameson Williams taking over taking over the scoring from Amon-Ra St. Brown. So like if that's the tiebreaker for you, like we've already seen that breakout happen. We got Z Pivy again. Let's see, you'd be receiving Horton and a first, a 28 mid first. I think you can get more. So the trade is 10 team Superflex, start 11, AJ Brown for a 28 first and Torrey Horton. I think you could, right now, the price on AJ Brown is you can get a random 27 first and more. And in this deal, you're getting a 28 first and Torrey Horton. And when I say and more, I mean more than Torrey Horton. So you could get a 27 first and like 2/3, a 27 first and on the higher end, a first and a second. I don't know that we're hitting a first and a second with Torrey Horton and a 28 first. You say I feel as I'm in a contending mode right now, but this is also AJ Brown's peak value. This is likely the end of the value on AJ Brown. You have the other team's 27 pick, and this pick would make his pick worse since our league's pick are based on total team points. Should you try to get a 27 first instead or take this offer? This would also play a role in the JMO for Tootin trade as well. I'd say if we're sending AJ Brown, you want to be getting 27 first and more, like a valuable more compared to Torrey Horton. Like you want a player that you know can start and get production from this year. And I don't know that you'll start Torrey Horton much this year at all, which is not saying a ton about Torrey Horton, more just saying with the value that you're getting on AJ Brown, you want a first and more. And Torrey Horton doesn't really fit that more. And I think you can get a 27 first and more. So I'd say shop around and see if you can just get more for him. Because you're right. This is probably the highest that AJ Brown's value is ever going to be going forward. Even if he's performing, unless he's absolutely amazing and blowing it out of the water, crushing everything. What Keller said, AJ Brown went for two firsts in my league. Yeah, I'm taking the AJ Brown. That would be the higher end of the market, what Keller. I think we dropped a video on AJ Brown last week. And in general, you see a lot more of between 1 and 2 firsts. Warden of the North, what is going on? First time chatter on Twitch. Where do you rank DJ Moore going into the season? If it's just a redraft league, I haven't done my redraft rankings. We've been covering Dynasty trades tonight. Warden of the North going into next year. I don't know that he shoots that high. He's probably top 20-ish. Ryan, the website not letting you on. So maybe we need to make some updates to letting more people on. How many trades in the queue from what Keller? Uh, that says 14. Let me update this one. It's probably 14 to 13. And then any new account gets free trade credits. Every account should have trade credits. Bry Bear says, when do you start doing the redraft video streams? Around August? We'll probably start doing some mock drafts on YouTube pretty soon. Probably I'm out of town most of this week from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we'll probably get some redraft videos out next week. And then just start continuously stacking them up so that we have multiple videos for a 12-team leagues, 10-team leagues for each draft position. Let me see if I can find something. Like, can I see? We're getting some messages in the chat of issues with the site, and I don't know if we're just hitting the high end of what the current deployment can handle. Like, we send the site out, we deploy our website, it gets a certain amount of processing power. Can it just not handle this many people at once? Let me look. Clicking around at what I can see here on this end. We've got this trade on the screen. We'll talk through it as this loads. We've got Stinzy in a 10-team Superflex start 9. It's a 90 player per week start. That is a bit shallower. In this deal, are we taking Jahmyr Gibbs? Oh, big boy. And Tyler Warren, or Brock Bowers, Ken Walker, and Makai Lemon. Okay. There's no tight end premium in this league. And because it's a shallower league, that value is going to spike up. Like someone like Ken Walker is going to lose a little bit of value, and that's going to go up to Jahmyr Gibbs. Which side of the Brayman is saying Gibbs side clears? I have a feeling the Gibbs side clears because there's no tight end premium here. There's no premium. Although, does the Gibbs side? Yeah, I think we're paying a ton. Like, this team has Bijan Robinson and Gibbs. Brayman is saying Warren with Danny Dimes was electric. I think I'm on that side too. If Tyler Warren was very good when he had non-Phillip Rivers or non-broken leg Daniel Jones. With that said, this is a stud roster. Do we want to split value here? 10 teams start 9. We got Bo Nix, Purdy, Mayfield at quarterbacks, like 3 startable assets. We might want to make some changes there. But then running backs, we got Bijan, Gibbs, Henderson, Derrick Henry. We're looking really good. Does this trade give us more wide receiver power? Like, we would get Makai Lemon. I like Tyler Warren as a piece to use. This team does not need Ken Walker. For just looking at value, it could be more value on the Brock Bowers, Ken Walker, Makai Lemon side. But with the roster you have, this team has Jahmyr Gibbs. If you're on the TikTok feed where we get most of our viewers, we can't put the full roster of the person who submitted this question, but on Twitch and YouTube, you can just see they have stud running backs. They could use some slightly better wide receivers. That, like, it's Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, DJ Moore. But we're not really getting that in this deal. We would get Makai Lemon. Who definitely helps. But then we move on from Gibbs to go to Ken Walker. What Keller's saying, you take the Lemon side in Dynasty value-wise. I think I'm somewhat with you on that. But when you're figuring, hey, you got to pay to up tier. And this is a team that if we made this deal, here's what I would say. If we move Jahmyr Gibbs and we go to the other side of this deal, where we might get more value, my next follow-up saying, or my next advice for that team would be, okay, well, now you need to consolidate some of this value. Now you need to take Ken Walker or Trevion Henderson, who's on this roster, and pair them and move more value into the starting lineup. So if we feel like we're getting more value on the Bowers, Ken Walker, Makai Lemon side, and I don't know that we for sure are, My follow-up advice would be, okay, well, now go from 3 to 2 in a different trade. Here we're going from 2 to 3, Gibbs and Tyler Warren. The follow-up move for this team contending would be, okay, well, now take those 3 or some combination of 3 and trade for 2 to make your starting lineup better. So it's I'm going to call this one like even. We could get more value on the Bowers-Walker side. I don't know that you for sure are. And then for the specific team asking this question, the next move would be, okay, well, now you got to take those guys and turn it back into 2 really good assets. Okay, what do I see here? What do I see here? Let's clear the overlay. We're getting issues from people. Are other people getting stuff like we're hearing a lot of people on both sides having issues with the site, not having issues with the site. It's running for me. The entire show that we do, like the moving queue on Twitch and YouTube, is all just a live website page. The site is up for people. I do see some requests of people trying to buy something and it didn't go through. Missing purchase type in request body. Is that? There's not a ton I can do to, like, okay, what Keller's saying, the site is fine, I load fine. Huh. I do see someone attempted a purchase and it didn't go through. So we'll try to get that sorted. I just want to check any other issues that we see. Let's get the next trade going at the same time, because we are at 14 in the queue. Here we go. This is the one that we just looked at. Hot Hands Hanan. Okay, get some database errors, but we're fine on connections. Some slow queries we could clean up, but we're not maxing out the situation. I don't think so. All right, Hot Hands Hanan in a 12-team start 11. It's deeper. Maze is saying site is working for you. In this trade, on one side, we got Jonathan Taylor, DJ Moore, Jalen McMillan. I don't see a ton of Jalen McMillan moving, but in a league this deep, he's going to have value. On the other side, Ken Walker, Brian Thomas, a 27 projected late second. The notes on this trade say, if the pick is a deal breaker, I'd be fine dropping it to a 3rd or 4th instead of a 2nd, or I could just do the deal with Walker and BTJ. Which side are you moving? You would be sending away Jalen McMillan. So am I sending Jonathan Taylor? If we look at let's break this down and say the top 4 pieces in the trade. How do we feel? Jonathan Taylor and DJ Moore for Ken Walker and Brian Thomas. I think it's the Jonathan Taylor side. Very, very close. There could be some, I think if we put a poll in the chat, that would be pretty close. Those 2 for 2, Taylor and DJ Moore for Ken Walker and Brian Thomas. Get some of the upside of Brian Thomas. This is a deeper league where DJ Moore is still going to hold value. So which side of this are we trying to go for? On the rest of it, like Jalen McMillan for a 2nd, that's pretty fair. Neither side is really reaching out and saying, man, you got to take this one. So for the roster that you have, would I move Jonathan Taylor and DJ Moore for McMillan and Ken Walker in the 2nd? Like, I think I might take the Ken Walker, Brian Thomas side for more potential upside. Jonathan Taylor's nearing the end of his career, we think. DJ Moore, definitely nearing the end. Like, we're not going to see I don't know that we're going to see big value spikes out of DJ Moore. Let me double check his age. I thought he's 28 at least. He's 29 years old right now, just turned 29 in April. 1, 2, 3 more years from DJ Moore in general? Does Jonathan Taylor do it again from Mays? Like, I don't know that he does. I think we're probably at peak value going forward for Jonathan Taylor and for DJ Moore. So if we pivot to Brian Thomas, who has potential upside, Ken Walker, who will hold value longer. I don't know how much higher his value could go in the future. And then the 27 second for Jalen McMillan, that's a fine swap. That seems fine to me. What Keller says, the site is fine, I load fine. We'll keep looking at it as people come through because we got to figure out what's going on. I see some errors with accounts signing up on the bonus event. Error message, you must be logged. Okay. That's just someone accessing the site on not logged in. So I think the Brian Thomas side has more upside is what I'll say. And I'll give it a slight edge on that one. Just looking at if Brian Thomas bounces back, you could get a big value win there or a decent value win. You're buying low on Brian Thomas. This trade comes in. May says 29. It says it on the site. Does it show it on the view that I was looking at? I don't think I could see that. I don't see ages on the view that I'm looking at. I could add them in. I should add them in. I'll add them in this weekend. I just Googled it. We got this trade from P. Strange and Phillips Swimmers. Is it talking about Swimmers? Swimmers seems dirty to me. 14 teams, super flex, deep on quarterbacks. And that's going to matter here. Maze, it has the age on our screen, at least. Oh, it does. It does have it on the Twitch and YouTube feed does show the age. That is small for me. I just have a monitoring size of it, so I would have to lean in to read them. And you're right. And that's not the same screen I'm looking at. Okay, 14 team super flex, 8 starters, but quarterbacks are going to hold a lot of value in this league. Every week, 28. There's going to be weeks where there's not enough starting quarterbacks in this league. 14 teams, super flex, that's 28 a week. There are weeks where there's more than 4 teams on a bye. So quarterbacks hold a ton of value, or more than you might think. Not a ton, more than you might think in a super flex league as you get past 12 teams. Justin Herbert or Gadsden and Roman Dunze. Would I send away Gadsden and Roman Dunze on this team to get Justin Herbert? I think I am. Or I think that's fine, a fine value trade. We got P. Strange. I am in a league with P. Strange. I'm not in this league. And I know he sends future picks away. Are we consolidating? Like we got H. White saying Herb all day. I think that's the side I'm leaning towards. I'm looking at this team and saying, do I want to do it with this team? We got George Kittle. Like we'd be without a tight end if we move on from Gadsden. Kittle's not starting the year. AJ Barner's the other option. Mason Taylor. Like we're looking at some deep options. No more future picks to trade. We've sent our 27 first, our 28 first. I guess P. Strange would send his 29 first based on how I've seen him move in leagues. So we would not have a tight end to start the year. We could go get one. But in this league, yeah, trading for Herbert, this is going to be the price for Herbert. And I think we're on the lower end. I don't think we're clearing. Yeah, Anthony Zargoza is agreeing in the TikTok chat. 14 team QB value is huge. Herbert is a top 12 guy. I'm on the Herbert side. I'm just trying to find more ways to say it. And as more messages come through, it's the value side of Herbert is very big, is real big here. I feel like anyone trading Herbert could probably get more than Gadsden and Rome Odunze for him. So if that's all we're sending, there's definitely upside with Rome that we now cap. There's upside with Gadsden that we now cap. But give me Herbert. Give me Herbert. All right, Dan Grimm submitted an hour ago. We're to it. We're catching up. Boys, we're catching up. We're catching up. Did that one go onto the screen? I'm clicking it. Come on over. Come on over. Failed to set live. That's a problem. Here we go. It's up there. Dan Grimm, L45 Dynasty, $35. Season number 2 is the name of the league. Is the name of the league. Dan Grimm, 12-team Superflex, start 11. It's deep. Are we sending Zay Flowers and J.K. Dobbins? 4. Michael Wilson, Romeo Doubs, Pat Freiermuth, or a 28 mid-third? Give me Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers. Which side of this deal are you, Dan? You're the Michael Wilson side. Wilson, Doubs. It's a deeper league. So let's say that. What Keller, give me Flowers and JK easy. H White, Zay, and a Zay for a bunch of crumbs. It's kind of how I'm viewing it. We will give a little bit of respect to 12-team start 11 is the deeper end of what we see get submitted. So you got to fill in, like you got to start a lot of guys. Romeo Doubs would start for this team, but just Zay Flowers. Michael Wilson isn't crumbs from Mays. Sure, you're right. But with the team that we have here, Superflex, you could see the team. It's good. It's very good. And it's deep enough that we don't need Romeo Doubs, Michael Wilson, and then some spit on a cracker from Pat Freiermuth and a 28th third. Give me the Zay Flower side. And J.K. Dobbins. Let's not forget, J.K. Dobbins is good, gang. He gets hurt. He's good at football and good at hurting himself. And that's not a great combination. But for weeks when he's not hurting himself, we're like, ooh la la. I'll take them points. J.K. Dobbins scores a lot of points, racks up a lot of injuries. You only really want to be good at one of those things, but he's good at both of them. And that is a problem. Deherminator on TikTok. Can I ask your opinion on a trade proposal I got? Yeah, Deherminator. That's the whole show, Deherminator. We got a whole website where you submit your trade questions. We got a whole queue of them. We got 13 trade questions in the queue of people looking for opinions on trade proposals. Submit it. Submit your trades. Boombustfantasy.com, Deherminator123. You can ask my opinion, and I'll give it to you. The next trade comes from Santi. I don't know how to say this. This ain't a word I know how to say. Santi Ux, and that's not right. And for the sake of our conversation right now, we don't need to know this. In a 10-team Superflex start 9, half-point PPR with a full point tight end premium. That's a biggie. What are we doing here? 28 first in Antonio Williams or Rome Odunze? I think I'm taking Rome Odunze. Mays is saying you take Williams in the first. What are we looking at with this team? This is an odd team. This is a team coming out of a rebuild. They have Antonio Williams. They are not looking to need Antonio Williams. Would I move Antonio Williams? Okay, here's my thoughts on this one. It's 10-team start 9. So someone like Rome is gonna be worth a bit more than you might think in a deeper league. 10-team start 9. If we get a hit from Rome, which is what people think they'll get, people like Rome Odunze, if you're trading for him, it's because you're projecting production. Hasn't been there yet, but the projection is high. It's a valuable level of high. And that's what you get. That's what you're getting with Rome. So 10-team start 9, we think he's going to be good and be difference maker. Like he'll hold a bit of value in this league. Would I move a 28 projected mid first, which I don't project that far out? Would I send a 28 first in Antonio Williams for him? Yeah, I would. Because in real trades with Rome Odunze, you can just send him for a 27 first. Possibly more. What Keller says, Antonio could be very valuable down the line. Oh, we're getting into that time of the year. He could be. We're getting into that time of the year where the second round picks in the NFL draft, these wide receivers that generally don't turn into fantasy producers, all start getting into, what if he's great? This team needs him to be great. or they traded so much to get him. And very often this stuff just doesn't become anything. Like Jack Bash on the Raiders. What if he's great? He was not last year. He does not really hold much value right now. Isaac Tisla. Oh, the Lions traded so much to get him. They're going to use him. I think he caught like one pass a game. So Antonio Williams is in that what if he's great phase right now. I think I could see a very real sequence of trades where you send Williams in a first, get Rome Odunze, and then get a 27 first or more. So that's what I would say. I'm taking the Rome side because I'm pretty sure I could flip Rome for more than the other side. May said, but all of Tesla's catches were TDs. Hey, number one guy. They traded so much to get him. What if he's great? They usually aren't. Deherminator, it's giving you an error. Deherminator, are you on your phone? We've had some issues with folks using the site through the phone. It typically is working. Like what Kelly, you're saying you're seeing some issues with it. I would have to break the show to redeploy it. So we'll see where we go after this. Got some logs that I can take a look at, but not a ton on my end to see what to fix. Let's take a, oh wait, Maze, I'm coping as a Tesla drafter. I think I included him in a video that hasn't released yet, and I almost just didn't because it's probably the first and only time I'll mention Isaac Tesla in a trade video this offseason. Let's take a look at this trade from Borman. It's on the screen. 12-team Superflex, start 10, full PPR. On one side, Brian Thomas, Kyle Monangai, and a third. The notes here say I finally snagged BTJ off my coworker, but this was the price. Thoughts? Ooh. We sent Tootin, Watson, and Jordan Mason. Ooh. I like Brian Thomas more than Tootin. I like Christian Watson more than Monangai. I like Jordan Mason more than a third. So I don't think we've paid too much here. I'm going to call this one, like, hey, we're in this range of Tootin could become a multi-year starter. We could end up in a situation where, like, hey, Tootin's a multi-year starter going forward. Or Christian Watson's the Christian Watson continues what he did, and BTJ continues to struggle. Like, this trade could really go both ways. We've seen a lot of years of Watson be injured. Tootin going into his second year, like now his first year as the proposed starter. We think he's the starter. I don't think it's too much to pay for BTJ, but I don't think it's a steal. I don't think we've got a clear steal. Either one, like, no one can accurately tell you which side here is going to be better next year. Some trades we do get some trades where we're like, yeah, this side is for sure going to be better next year. This one's feeling like, I don't think you massively overpaid. If you wanted BTJ and you believe in the bounce back, this isn't a bad price. But now we need BTJ to bounce back for this to pay off, is kind of how I would describe that one. He doesn't have to fully bounce back, but he's got to be a wide receiver 2 this year. All right, on to the next one. GM Bronk. Is that GM Bronk? It's probably not GM Bronk. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. Z Borman trying to get Watson back from him also, by the way. Go for it. Yeah, I like Watson as well. Hunter White says it's a good sell high on Tootin's opportunity and a buy low on BTJ. It could be that. That's another way of, I feel like that's another way of saying what I was trying to say. But it could also just be the flip. Maybe you sold low after, maybe we're selling low on Watson after the breakout. Like, we don't know where it's going to go with these guys. It's pretty volatile. CC Danielson has a question. It says, how do I see my team review? It shows completed online. Here's what we are saying. Well, it's not what we're saying. It is what we're saying. It's also true. CC Danielson, for team reviews, we had those open for a while as demo team reviews before turning on team reviews as a product on the site. So I do recognize you from the chat from a couple times. I'm not sure if you've caught when we've said for the past couple of weeks, we're finalizing our team review process and saying we'll do a couple demo ones, a couple free ones for people who were here. Every team review that was opened would get marked as closed, and team reviews, just like you would find on any site everywhere, is they become a paid product. So we were doing some free test ones to get the process going, and now they are just a paid product on the site, which does not mean, and what we have said the entire time was submitting a team review was as a demo and that we will not cover all of them. And that's where we're at now. If your team review is marked as completed, we will not be going back to it. If you would like to submit one, you can. There's just not a clear process to take a submitted team review and then make someone pay for it. The way going forward is on the site, you can pay for a team review there, and then we'll get to it immediately on the show if we're live. So we're live Mondays, Wednesdays. If we need to, we'll add in more shows to meet the demand. CC Danielson just hit it on the site. I think they're $21.99 for a team review. Brayman, when you get to mine, what do I need to add to get Addison back? Let me know when we get to it. I am very forgetful with anything from the chat. It kind of just becomes a fugue state of speaking, and then immediately forget everything I say. Normally, I have a good memory. Caleb, wondering if you went over my trade and I didn't notice. Been in for around 2 hours. Caleb, check the YouTube and Twitch feeds and you can see the current queue as it goes through. I don't recall if we did. Stinky Gusso's thoughts on Sorsby's value. Last I heard, Sorsby was playing for Texas Tech, so we don't need to have value for him, right? If he's just playing in college this year. Do I have that wrong? Sorsby has entered the supplemental draft. That is news to me as of right now. Was that today? It was about an hour or so ago. Okay, I've been live for 2 hours, Stinky. So we'll come back to it. We'll come back. Let me cover this one because it's on the screen, and then we'll close this out and get up to date with that news. We don't get a lot of breaking news during the show, but we will. GM Bronk, it's a 12-team Superflex start 10. I just don't like to leave the trade on the screen for a long time without talking about it, because if people are watching the replay on YouTube and they see their name, they want to hear me talk about them. As soon as they see the name, I assume people scan through here. So we'll go with Travis Hunter, Terrence Ferguson, the T for Turd, and Ramondre Stevenson on one side, and DJ Moore in a second on the other. Oh. I don't know. All right, this is one where give me hits in the chat what you guys are feeling on this one, because I'll start talking about my thoughts on it. Let me know which side you guys are leaning on. What I have seen in real trades, I probably said this a dozen times yesterday making videos, was that Travis Hunter is being traded for around a 27 second right now, a random 27 second. Seki Gusso says, who knows with the Rams tight end room? True. Let's see. Devin Kelly says, leading DJ in the pick. I might be as well. Like Travis Hunter, we do have to say, still has upside. DJ Moore in a second feels safer. I think so too. I think we're cutting out. Let's take a look. Which side of this is GM Bronk? GM Bronk has DJ Moore. So if you have DJ Moore in a second, are we making this deal? I don't think so. What Keller says give me Moore in a second 10 times out of 10. D Mar says the T Ferg side easily. We get D Mar taking one side. Brayman saying Moore with Allen is going to feed. I don't know if I even need him to really feed. H. White says he has a competitive roster too. We are shooting for the upside of Travis Hunter here. I think the way that I would take this one is say, like Terrence Ferguson could be interesting, but we have Colson Loveland, Travis Kelce. I'll let him be in that situation, Maze, one, thank you for the comment. And I did none of, like, I'm going to read your comment and then say, I'm not going to jump on your side, but I'm very thankful. Shoot, CC Danielson, I see your message. We'll take a look at it. We'll probably have to look at it after the show. On this deal, am I moving DJ Moore? Like, DJ Moore's not starting for this team. You can see the roster. It's very big wide receiver roster. JSN, Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then DJ Moore. Okay. I've come to my decision. I'm not taking Travis Hunter. I'm not taking Travis. I'm not taking Travis Hunter. DJ Moore in a second could probably get you just more in a deal. And with the team that we have here, like, it's a very good team. It has the 101 on top of that. Very good running backs, very good quarterbacks, very good wide receivers, very good tight ends. I guess in that situation, we could split DJ Moore and hope that we're getting a bounce back from Travis Hunter. But there's probably better deals you could make for better bounce backs or better upside plays with DJ Moore. Like, with this team, we probably want to move DJ Moore. We probably want to move Jaden Higgins. We probably want to move Chris Godwin and a second and get something else. But we want to get DJ Moore in a second for one thing, not DJ Moore in a second for a bunch of knickknacks, or for Travis Hunter and some knickknacks. Like, we'd be getting Ramondre Stevenson. This team is going to have Hampton, James Cook, and Jeremiah Love. Maybe Stevenson starts for you 1 week, or maybe you trade Ramondre Stevenson. I think I'm sticking with DJ Moore here and just looking for other deals. Terrence Ferguson could be interesting. Could be. Maybe we look back in a year and go like, man, we should have just traded DJ Moore and all these guys, like Travis Hunter bounced back and Terrence Ferguson was great. And from that perspective, with the team that we have here, it's also a low risk move. But I think you could just move DJ Moore for a second and get a thing that's more sure than hoping for Travis Hunter and Terrence Ferguson to bounce back. What Keller says, give me Claire over Ferg. Could be. Okay, we got one from King Keller. Is that what Keller? That's not the next one coming up. That one came through 9 minutes ago. So we are still getting stuff. Like, a lot of stuff is just going through. But we're hearing some issues, and I'm checking. What is this? Create checkout error. That's a problem. If people can't create a checkout, that's a problem. We'll refresh that. Let me take a look at. Do we have Grant in here? We have a failed payment from a Grant. Is Grant here? Grant, let me know if you're here. So we have, okay. We won't pivot too deep into trying to solve some problems. Do we have the new trade coming up? Let's take a look at this new trade because we're already getting responses. Ross is saying, give me the 101 side. Let me take a look at it. Well, let me process it. And then Ryan Keller. Oh, we got a couple of Kellers. We got a couple Kellers in here. Ryan Keller asking a trade question. Ryan, if you have a Dynasty trade question, we take them through our website at boombustfantasy.com. Here's the trade on the screen. Let's talk about it. Let me turn up the AC. I'm getting sweaty. Turn down. Do you turn up the air conditioning to bring the temperature down? I think so. It's Nick in a 10-team, 1 quarterback start 9 Dynasty League. Are we taking the 101 and Christian Watson or Marv, Bucky Irving in a third? It's the 101. It's the 101. Ross Smith is saying, give me the 101. I think it's the 101 with Christian Watson. CeeDee Danielson, you got it to work. Thank Christ, CeeDee Danielson. What specifically did you get to work? and we'll get right to you, CC. I think we will. Yeah, I'm taking the 101 here. How do we break this down and explain this more other than just kind of rambling and saying, give me the 101? Let me go back to where I was. All right, what would it take to give me Jeremiah Love? We dropped a video on Jeremiah Love today and said, probably getting 3 firsts for this guy. Caleb Owl is saying Watson equals Marv, and 101 is way better than Bucky. Man, I don't know that Watson equals Marv, but I don't know that. But even if you describe it that way, Caleb, well, no, we can't describe it that way because I don't think I would send Marvin Harrison to get Christian Watson. I'd probably rather have the Christian Watson side. Brain Man is saying Bucky is odd right now. I think Bucky is cheap right now, but Marv for a first, yup. Bucky for a first, you might not. But even if we say that he is, are we sending 2 firsts for the 101 and Christian Watson? No, give me the 101 side. It's Nick is saying, I'd move Marv and Bucky with a 27 third. What are your thoughts? I really, really like it. I really, really like it. And we got Webby and saying, give me the top easy. I agree. We have got it. First one coming through. We said when the first team review came through, we would go to it. We've got trades in the queue, but we have team reviews coming through. CeeDee Danielson, first buyer of the team review. Let's take a look at it. Probably going to get flamed, but you're excited? I don't know, man. I'm excited. Let's take a look at it. It's opening up. Oh man, what is the best way to do this? Am I finding out that I need to get the, oh yeah, here we go. Almost choked it. Here we go. Here is the league. Let's get it on the screen. We can get this on the screen right here. I go to this, that, open that, and then we go to this. And does it show? Zappers 2.0? Is this you, Colton? Is it Colton? SK saying you're going to be like one of those 3 hours of sleep doesn't affect me TikToks tomorrow. I might be. It's not that late here. And actually, SK, I'm usually up past midnight most days. So we got it. We have got CeeDee Danielson team review. It's on the screen. Zappers 2.0 is the league. And CeeDee's, can I say that? Can I say that? Oh, this is showing the wrong. Oh, this is showing the wrong thing on. Let's update this. We just need to delete that. Just need to change a bit of the streaming software, and then we will jump right into this. Where did that go? Oh, wrong thing. That's what I meant to do. Okay. There we clear it. Now we show this. Not the live show command. Firefox. This one? There it is. And then we come here. We take this. We are on the team review page. There's just a little bit of housekeeping. Excuse me. Here we go. Meetzer. Yeah, Meetzer. So we can answer Meetzer's question by doing this team review. Meetzer says, submitted a team review 5 days ago, says it got completed that day, but can't find the live. Meetzer, if you submitted it while we were live, so here's what we had been doing in the past. If you wanted your Dynasty team reviewed, we were doing them as some demos on the live shows, and we were doing them for people who were there. So if you were, and we were pretty tight on who's next, and then did it. So if you didn't see one, there's a very good chance that it was one of the demos that just did not get selected. So we did a long period of, you can submit your team review. There's a very real chance we are not going to get to it in the demo period, because anywhere you go, Dynasty team reviews are a paid product, and that's going to be the same thing for us. And what we have here, the reason you see that all team reviews were closed out as completed is because that demo period is now past. We are now into the era of submitting your team reviews through the site, through our team review ticket process. If you want to get your team reviewed, that is where you do it on our website, boombustfantasy.com. But we had a lot of people trying to get them for free. We covered a bunch of them for free, but that is now past. So they're all then closed out rather than leaving people with open ones wondering when they're going to get done when that demo period is done. So we'll send out an email to every user of the site over this weekend going forward. But if you have one that is completed, that is what has happened. We've got Colton's on Zappers 2.0, CeeDees, TDs. So here's how we handle these. We're going to go through this team position by position. We give a 0 through 4-star rating. You could have a 0 at quarterback. We'll go through each position. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about your quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and your future value at your draft picks. And then we're going to look at things like, hey, are you contending this year? Are you contending next year? And the year after that, we try to give you a 3-year outlook for your team. And then we're going to talk through, hey, here's some trades you can make this offseason, next offseason, some projections to keep you contending as much as you can. So let me make sure I've got the chat pulled up. CC Danielson. Is it a Colton? Did I see a Colton? Yeah, Colton. What are we doing with this team? Let's start breaking down some rankings. It's a 12-team, 1 quarterback, 6-point passing touchdown, which does kind of matter with some of the quarterbacks you have, quarterbacks who run, that we think are going to throw, that we think are going to get a little bit more value from throwing in a 6-point passing touchdown league. We start 9 guys. With your quarterbacks, how are we feeling? We go through these with a 4-star rating based on expected production and tradability, like value. So with Kyler Murray, Malik Willis, Daniel Jones, J.J. McCarthy, and Jacoby Brissett, how do we feel on like the future value here? It feels weak. It feels weak. Of these 5 guys, can we get one producing quarterback for us this year? Yeah. Like if we're looking for, are we always going to pick the right guy for all 18 weeks of the NFL season? No. But with these 5, are we always going to have a guy that's starting for us? Very likely. Very likely. So and with those guys, are we going to get top 12 production often? Yeah, we might. Kyler Murray, when he plays, is top 12. Malik Willis, if he runs, running quarterbacks can often just, like they call it the cheat code because you don't have to be that good at playing quarterback to get into the top 12. If Daniel Jones runs, he'll be averaging at the end of the year, probably a top 12 quarterback. Is he always a great NFL quarterback? No. With all that said, how do we feel about this? It's like a 1 out of 4, a strong 1 to a weak 2 out of 4 at quarterback. We only have to start one of these guys. We only need to but that's what it feels like. We're piecing together a quarterback starter. User 637. I see the message you're saying. That's an odd one. We'll follow up with you in a minute. So this is feeling like, hey, we could probably piece together a team here, but it's not feeling amazing. At running backs, yeah, we got strong value, strong production here. This is we'll read them out. Bijan, Gibbs, James Cook, Trevion Henderson, then Kyle Monangai, some upside in Jonathan Brooks. This is a 4 out of 4. No one in your league is going to have a better running back room than you, right? You know that one. I don't want to click through all the teams in your league. No one. What's a possible better running back room? No one's going to have a better one. It's 4 out of 4. We're looking great. Wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Harrison, Jalen Waddle. I like Jalen Waddle. If we're only starting 9 guys, we're feeling all right about this wide receiver room. Anthony, that's a top tier running back group. Like, yeah, no one has a better one. Maybe Jeremiah Love. If someone had Love, Hampton, Genty, Achan, we might call that a better 4, but that's like also cartoonishly good. That would also be pretty close to a 4 on 4. Like one of the best running back rooms in the league in terms of expected production and value. Great. Wide receivers, Lamb, Marv, Waddle, Flowers. Like a weaker 3, a stronger 2. probably a week or 3 is where we'll leave it. Like I would give this 3 out of 4 stars. Lamb's really good. You still have value in Marvin Harrison, even if the production hasn't quite been there. And then Jalen Waddle and Zay Flowers both really have top 15 wide receiver upside this year in their offenses. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to hit it, but one of these guys is probably going to be pretty good for you. And you're putting together a strong weekly lineup from your wide receivers. Tight ends, Brock Bowers, no one behind him. Hawkinson, I still believe in Hawkinson, but no one amazing behind him. There's probably still 4 because we start 1 tight end. Unless Brock Bowers gets hurt again, we're looking at 1 week where you're not starting Bowers. We're feeling great. We're going to call that a 4. And then draft picks. Okay, we see where this production has come from. You've sold 2027. You've sold 2028. Jace of Spades. What's going on, Jace? PS, trade me Cam Ward. Thank you for the follow. I didn't know you weren't a follower. How'd you get in a follower league without following? Maybe you unfollowed. I don't know. It's okay. Thank you for the follow. Or it's a new account. So weak on future draft picks. I think you know that. We know that. But looking at this team, you're contending this year, possibly retooling for a quarterback next year, but you could trade someone and get that. So we're probably contending. The realistic issue is we don't feel great about these quarterbacks. Jason Spades is saying new channel, LOL. Yeah, I was just teasing. You do card breaks on this account. God, I would love to watch some card breaks. If you guys are looking to watch card breaks, check out Jason of Spades. I assume you're talking about that. You're doing them. And man, I love watching card breaks. So this is a team we are contending. You're contending this year. What we have on our site is if you sync your league, you can also see this lineup power. If we're looking at projected weekly scoring for this league setup, you have one of the strongest teams. It's saying like, hey, you're probably going to get 19 points a week from your quarterbacks. We don't know which one's going to do it each week, but it's feeling good. Like this, you're feeling all right. You can piece this together. It's a weak position group, but you could piece it together. Future dynasty value, you're also up there. So when we were saying you're contending, it's because like it's not because you have future picks. We can pull up your future dynasty value, like Nate McAvoy, a strong team, not ready to contend right now. They have future picks. All of your future picks have been spent, but it looks like they've been spent wisely. Wide receivers could become a problem for you if Marv doesn't hit, if Jalen Waddle doesn't take a step forward with Denver, which isn't really even a step forward for Waddle. It's just kind of getting back to something he has done multiple times. So I'm feeling good on Jalen Waddle. I'm feeling good on Zay Flowers. And really for this year, if you wanted to lock in a quarterback, I take a look at, you have all these guys. Could you swing a trade for Jalen Hurts, who's just been a top 10 quarterback, and then we're not really worried about it? That's a cheaper option that you could go find in this league, and then you just don't have to worry about it. Like the one position that you feel weak about, you go get a guy who runs and is just going to be top 12, and then we're not really trying to piece something together. User57 says, could you get to Trevor Lawrence? I bet it might be tough because it's a 1 QB league. So guys like Malik Willis, Daniel Jones, JJ McCarthy, Jacoby Brissett, they don't hold a ton of value in this league. But they are going to, like, you can get a top 12 starter in the aggregate from these guys. So for your league, like most of your scoring isn't going to come from your quarterbacks. So we don't have to worry that much about it. But the future moves for you are like a 27 third, 28 third. I don't know that we're going to pull a quarterback out of that. You're saying my hopes are high deep down. I know you're right about those QBs. Like I wouldn't go overly into, I mean, what I would say is like ask in your league. Does someone like Malik Willis? Can you send Malik Willis and Henderson and get a much better much better quarterback? And then you're probably fine. But realistically, this year, you could just piece it together from these guys. If JJ McCarthy, like Kyler Murray, when he's been a starter, has been top 12 on average. He was actually on that pace last year for the Cardinals before there was an injury, and then they just decided to move on from him. Malik Willis, you could probably pull up his stats for. I'd say like Malik Willis is probably someone that we trade rather than try to trust. I don't know that you're going to get much for him, but looking at his stats for the Packers in the past couple of years, he's been startable. Daniel Jones was startable last year. Jacoby Brissett was startable last year. And the team that you have, even if we get to week 4 and we're like, man, I really need a quarterback, you also have enough tradable assets to just go trade for a quarterback. So I think you're contending, like, for other moves you could make, let's try to take someone like, I don't know. Can we move? You don't need Kyle Monangai on this team. So can we take Monangai and Hawkinson and get up to a better tight end or more value there? I'd be looking to just do up tiers. You don't even have that many guys. One of the things that I try to do with players like Monangai or Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who are not really starting for you, they're young, decent assets. I would be looking to say, hey, can we take a player and just get younger? Move. There's no examples of it here, but if you had an older wide receiver, could we cut a couple years off that age and move Monangai for that? But that's not the situation for you. So can we just do up tiers? Can we move, like, even if you just wanted to feel more sure about production, move Marv and Kyle Monangai for players in the range of like T. Higgins and just get more production at wide receiver? You could probably get a higher tier guy. I'm trying to think through all the values of just who's a slightly higher tier guy than Marv, but start looking at sites like that. Find general rankings of Marvin Harrison. He's at wide receiver 22. Can you shoot for the wide receiver 15, like user 5'7" for Ladd? Yeah, and moving into someone where you feel more confident about their production. And with the spots that you have on this team, if we're worried about a second wide receiver or a quarterback, we're just moving Henderson for that and looking fine because you have 3 stud running backs for this year: Robinson, Gibbs, Cook. Other spots where you could, if you can't get a quarterback, down tier from Gibbs. Even if you wanted to go get a quarterback right now, could you trade from Gibbs to Hampton and get a quarterback out of that? I bet you could. Sometimes we like to look at the teams here that are lower lineup power and say, who can you go get from their team? Oh, excuse me. Like Safonda Cox. Is that a real name or is this a wiener joke? I'm not sure. My family's maiden name was Cox, so I also know that can be a real name. My mom's maiden name was Cox, but could you go get? Normally we come through here at this point and say, can you go to these lower tier scoring teams and send your picks for players? I don't know that I would do that with your roster because you just don't have 27 picks. You don't have 28 picks. I'd say let's chill on sending future picks, not send our own 29 first to make any moves, because pushing all in doesn't actually increase your odds as much as we want it to. Once you get to the playoffs, like if you remember, you've played fantasy for a while, I assume, when you look at the playoff odds, they're like a 58% chance to win going into the week. When you're looking at the site, like ESPN gives you playoff odds, Sleeper gives you odds to win each week. They're not that far from half and half. So if we're sending our 29 first, it's not going to boost your playoff odds that much. So I'd say hold on to your 29s. Let's not send a ton of other picks away unless we're moving other things to get future picks. And that, unless it's like Monangai, Brooks, Krosky-Merritt, Stevenson, I'm not seeing this as a team where, man, we need to go get more picks. Like, we've spent them and we spent them well. We've got stud pieces and we have realistic options for replacing wide receivers if we need to. So I'd say be open to down tiering from Bowers, Bijan, and Gibbs if you need to pull more value to cover the rest of your lineup, and then piece it together at quarterback. And if we get 2 to 3 weeks into the season and you feel like, man, none of these quarterbacks are good, you have realistic value in other spots where you could just down tier and get a quarterback. So I'd say we're contending, and then probably still contending in 2029 with what you have. Like, we're not really losing anyone. Maybe James Cook loses some value and gets closer to the end of his career. What is he, 26 going on 27? CeeDee Lamb 27. But I think you're good. Danielson says, I've never won, lost 2 games last year and then lost in the chipper. That's how it goes, which is why we say, hey, don't go super all in, because getting to the playoffs is a sign of skill. But once we're in the playoffs, it does get to flukier. If you're never making the playoffs in your dynasty league, that's a sign, or in your fantasy leagues, that's a sign you're not that good at fantasy. And if you're regularly making the playoffs, that's a sign you're pretty good at it. Just winning the championship, like once you're into the championship, it does get closer to 50-50 odds in each given week. And then you just got to stack those wins. So build a team that can get to the playoffs, and you have one that will be there for a while. So I think you're good to go. Thank you for submitting it. There will be a follow-up web page that will have some of the trades that we've covered on this, as well as a link to the video if you want to come back and check this out. And also some of the rankings that we've covered and like project and marching orders going forward. And that'll come to you by email tomorrow, Colton. Thank you very much for covering that one. If you wanted to get your team covered in depth in that way, you can do that on our website. It is at boombustfantasy.com. Let's take a look at some other trades that we have in the queue, because we're also covering just flat trade questions. We got one from Big B Cards. Ooh, just a 1-for-1. And it's going to pop up on your screen. And I feel like, man, we might call this a fine flip. Is it coming in? We got Big B Cards, 10 team, 1 quarterback, start 10. Which player are you guys take? Which player are you guys taking? Let's also, oh, okay. This is the one where you said, what could you add to get Addison? Let me take a look at which side you are. You are the Trevion Henderson side. I feel like you're adding, like, would you have to add the 202 to get Henderson? I don't know. Okay, great, man. Oh no says Henderson's in a timeshare and you're just taking Smitty. Also, oh no, is the website just for sleeper? It is just for sleeper. It is just for sleeper. So let's cover this trade and then come back to that question. Let's see what Keller's saying. Smitty now, Trey later. I kind of given the slight lean towards Trey. Let's see where the market is at. Let's take a look at this. Here's something that if it's just a 1-for-1 trade in Dynasty, I will pull up Dynasty Data Lab and look up their startup ADP. Zach Clark says, I'm buying Smith. I'm buying Smith too. Are you buying him for that price? I come to this website, Dynasty Data Lab, and I look at their startup ADP, which is just people starting Dynasty leagues. Who do they take first? If it's one player for one player, Devonta Smith going pick 66. And we do search for Trevion Henderson going pick 44. So I would look at something like the market is generally picking Trevion Henderson 2 full rounds before they take Devonta Smith. And when we're in June, I do value that. Like, a lot of the market is saying they would much rather have Devonta Smith and more for Trevion Henderson. And I am showing that on screen. I know they're clipped on the side of the screen on the TikTok feed. User57 says, that's crazy to me. Sometimes we get comments. We'll swap back to this view. Sometimes we get comments on our trade videos like, these trades are crazy to me. You know, every day on TikTok, we make videos of real trades that have happened. They're also on YouTube. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's just what the market price is. So when we're looking at a trade like this and saying, man, that value's crazy to me, I was surprised so many people were saying they would take Devonta Smith, because I backed it up. I was under the assumption like, hey, you could probably get more if you're sending Trevion Henderson. So if you're looking to get Jordan Addison added onto the Devonta Smith side, like send Trevion Henderson, get Devonta Smith and Jordan Addison, I don't think I would send more than a third. I think you said you would send the 202, like send Trevion Henderson in the 202. I don't see you having the 202. Do I have this wrong, Brayman? You have Ramondre as well. Like, yeah, it's probably in that like possible Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre kind of gets you there. I don't think Ramondre's too much. He's probably more than a third, but really just saying, Trevion Henderson and a third gets you Devonta Smith and Jordan Addison. I think that gets done in a lot of leagues. So when you have we'll pull it up and we'll go through these any given time. But if the trade is 1 for 1, I will go to just startup ADP and get an idea of, independent of teams, who do people draft first? And it's comfortably been Trevion Henderson. Now, some of that gets fed by the site that you're drafting on. It shows you an ADP. And then people follow it. But then you get to trade questions and people say, I'd rather have Devonta Smith. I think if you're looking at a lot of spots, you'll find general value goes ahead on Trevion Henderson. So we would go with that. So add 303 in Henderson for Addison and Smitty. I would send it. And I wouldn't think that's about the market rate. I'm not sure. I'm not saying you'll get that. But yeah, I'm not looking to send a ton more. We'll get to the next one. The 303 or possibly go for the 206. Once we're getting into that range, the actual drafting, I don't know that I care about. You're probably right. I don't know that I care about the 206 that much more than the 303. I would send the 303 as an offer, and if they countered with the 206, I don't know that I would say no. Piece it together. Use. So I do have a video saying I don't keep trade cut a ton, but in these situations, I kind of will. If we're trying to build 2 for 2s, make sure that it's fitting in there. Don't go outside of the 2 for 2 range, but the market is preferring Henderson by 2 rounds. So let's try to build that into the price of things in maybe even a more meaningful way. Maybe we don't even go for Addison on that deal. We go for Henderson and something a little bit more of value and get Smith and more. A bigger deal kind of shows that value more. All right, we got Dom, we got Dom. We've got Dom. Here's the deal. It's a 10-team, 2 QB, start 9. So we're starting 90 players each week. Wyatt Spinks, you submitted a 2 for 2. We've got the queue. If you're on the TikTok feed, the queue doesn't show. There's just not enough room on your phone. But on YouTube and on Twitch, you can see where you're at in the queue. You can see my finger on TikTok and it's pointing somewhere. On the widescreen feed, it's pointing at a scrolling queue of the trades as we're going to go through them. We've got 12 currently in the queue. So we'll try. I don't know how much longer we can go, though. So we're at 2 hours, 40 minutes. This is already the longest show we've done. We'll try to get through as caught up as we can until my voice starts to break or my wife yells at me, because I do speak loudly and it's getting close to her bedtime. And the bed's right over there, which is the follow-up part you might not know. I shouldn't assume you know where I sleep. It's right there. Dom Campione, 10-team, 2 quarterbacks, start 9. Justin Herbert, Trevion Henderson, 28 third, or Cam Ward, a first and 2 seconds. I'm taking Herbo. I'm taking Herbert. I'm a Herbert believer. Here's how I break this one down. Webbian says I'm a Herbert Glazer, so I would have to take the top. Hey, I'm with you. And here's how I break this one down. Sometimes when you're looking at a trade, it helps to do an exercise like this. Would I rather have Justin Herbert or Cam Ward in a first? I think we need to take a first on top of Cam Ward to get to Justin Herbert. I don't think that's that insane. Cam Ward's not really going to run. He's definitely not running more than Herbert does. Herbert runs some. He doesn't run a ton. He's not Jalen Hurts. He's not Lamar Jackson, but he does. Running is part of his game. It's not actually that much of Cam Ward's game. So I probably want Ward in a first to get to Herbert. And then when we take that and say, even if you don't fully agree with that, the rest of the deal starts to get pretty obvious. I'm not taking Henderson I'm taking Henderson in a third way more than two seconds, a 28 and a 29 second. That's not close. So if we break it into 2 trades, Herbert and Ward, we're calling that one fair. Herbert for Ward in a first, we're calling that fair. Trevion Henderson and a third for 2 seconds. It's not close. It's not close. So I'm taking the Herbert and Henderson side by quite a bit on that one. All right. C. Jonesy is here. He submitted this. Caleb is still with us. We've got his trade. 12 team. Thank you for the waiting. 12 team, 1 quarterback, start 8. He's saying, let's go. What if we just skip it? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Or what if we just cut the show right now? Also just joking. Let's talk about this trade. 1 quarterback, 12 team. We're starting 8. We'll talk about the trade and then I'll pull up which side of this. I don't see your side of the roster on Twitch and YouTube. You can see Caleb's roster. He's got Josh Jacobs, a first and a third on one side, or Terry McLaurin, the 111 and a 27 projected late first. All right, Caleb, talk dirty to me. Well, just talk to me. Talk normal to me. How far you have these entered? You can enter, just like Keep Trade Cut gives you the option, 27 mid first and a 27 late first. How confident are we that these picks are not both playoff teams? 27 mid first, is that a playoff team? Because once we're into the late firsts, I do just look at like, hey man, I hope it's a playoff pick. And then it becomes fluky, like we were talking about on that team review. The playoffs are fluky. You got second last year. His team went on a run. So are these both, you're projecting yours as a late? Are you the Terry McLaurin side? You're the Terry McLaurin side sending. Okay, we're sending a projected late and the 111. You got second. Terry McLaurin to maybe move up next year. I think that's where it's going to start to break down for me. How do we, you're saying yours will for sure be late. Like, we don't know. We don't know. Good teams lose in the first round is what I'm trying to say. So do I want to spend things? That's my thoughts here. Do I want to spend value to get away from my own first, hoping that my team continues that success and like we don't get a fluky loss? I had a great team last year. We lost in the first round. We had big value breakout with JSN. Big value bounce back with Javonte Williams on that team. It wound up being a really, really good team. And then the first round of the playoffs, it didn't work. The playoffs are more fluky. So do we want to spend to move up 1 year away from when we know where our picks are? I don't know. Let's take a look at this deal. Do I want Josh Jacobs? What's going on with Josh Jacobs? Have we heard more updates on anything other than he's at camp? He's got probably 1 more year. Am I sending Terry McLaurin for Jacobs? That's kind of where we're at. Wyatt, thank you for the follow on YouTube. Then the 111. I don't know that I'm doing this. What Keller's saying, you think Josh is better than the 111 and Terry? Yeah, probably. Josh is probably better than the 111 and Terry, and then we're swapping firsts. Would I send the 111 and Terry for Josh Jacobs? I guess. I think this is where I just want a different running back. What Keller, I expect Josh to get suspended? I think so too. I'm leaning towards Josh Jacobs gets suspended, so I probably don't want to bring him in. Yeah. Let's go with this. Do I want to do this? Not really. Because I could just do something else. If you have the 111 Terry McLaurin and your 27 first, couldn't you come up with a better trade? Where we're not bringing in, I don't know that we're getting, like, the risk of Josh Jacobs here isn't being considered enough, is my thoughts. The suspension, is he in his last year with the Packers? Has he done 2 years or 3 years with the Packers? He signed a 4-year deal. I'm pulling it up off screen. Josh Jacobs Spotrac. He's got 26 and 27 on his contract, but he's cuttable after every year. He's been cuttable his whole contract in terms of the way that it's structured. Like, it's not a ton of dead cap. The Packers could have at any point, if he's not performing, they could get out. So and he's likely to be suspended. I think I'm not that excited on this one. Caleb says trying to, but for some reason, everyone in the league thinks I'm trying to rob them. You do the most research, etc. That's, hey, you're here checking trades all night, which we appreciate. Trying to get over the hump. You got second last year. I don't know that for sure this gets you over the hump, other than we probably like Josh Jacobs slightly, higher than Terry McLaurin. I'd say look at other options. I do like moving away from the 111, but I think you could do more with the 111. Pair 111 with Christian Watson to get a better player. Pair the 111 with Terry McLaurin to get younger. I just kind of like some of these other options where we're not trusting Josh Jacobs as much. I don't think the values are crazy. The trade doesn't excite me is kind of my thoughts here. And mostly I'm just tepid with Josh Jacobs. All right, we got R. Martin who submitted theirs. Oh my gosh. Caleb submitted his on the show. It shows it as 2 hours ago. So we'll do our best to get some of these ones that are, well, I'm not going to talk about them. We're just going to pick up the speed. All right, R. Martin, 12 team, super flex, start 11. It's deep and a tight end premium on top of 0.75. Cam Scatterbo, Xavier Worthy, or Kyron Williams, Josh Downs. The notes here say, I have Scat and someone in my league really loves him and are trying to acquire him. He sent me this offer. Would you do this deal, or is there another type of trade with him that you should do to get more value? So what I would say is, man, I doesn't seem like this guy loves Cam Scatterbo. Oh no is saying the scat side. And this is getting into the range of like, why are we doing this deal? Or the way that it's set up, like, is Cam Scatterbo notably better than Kyron Williams? Is Josh Downs notably better than Xavier Worthy? I think we're going to get people that take each of these guys, you're going to get people who, when you look at the running backs on each side of this deal, they're pretty even. You'll find people who like both of them. Same thing with the wide receivers. What Keller's saying, it's even, I guess. I like Worthy and Scat as players more than Kyron and Downs. I like Kyron. Like that's kind of the exact thing that I was looking to see. What Keller is saying, you like Scat. I like Kyron. I don't love him like a ton more than Scatterbo. I just don't know that I'm comfortable with adamantly picking one of them. I like them both. And with Worthy and Downs, I think you're going to find a lot of people there. So does this guy love Scatterbo? This trade don't show it. If he loves Scatterbo, he'd give you more. Because this is just like, the market price. He loves Scatterbo, but he's just trying to pay you the fair value price on that one. So I'm going to call this one even. If this guy loves Scatterbo, you could just get more from him. You could probably get like a second round pick thrown on top. And then it starts to get into that range. Jorge is saying, help me get to the championship last year and lost. Yeah. I remember you, Jorge. Thanks for popping back in. Coming back for revenge. Is the fourth pick ideal? Because in the first round, you could go Bijan, Peak, Puka, Gibbs, or CMC. Man, Jorge, I don't recall if you were there in the offseason last year. I can't remember that far back. But one of the number one things that I said last year, and one of the number one things I'll say this year, is like, I don't care about pick slot. I just don't know in redraft that we need to worry about pick slot. Like, who was winning you leagues last year? It's not often your decision between who you took at number one that makes that big of a difference. Or if it is, it's not in a way that we could know. Like, you got Puka as a player you would take at fourth this year because he had a great year last year and we were taking him in the second round. We're looking for stuff like that. We're looking for guys in the fourth, fifth, sixth round that are big breakouts, and that's what's going to win you your league. Like, we just don't know enough to say, man, pick 4 is way better than pick 3 or pick 5. Or one of those is notably better. Pick slot in a redraft league. So I don't currently have redraft rankings, but we'll get them together soon, and then we'll go on that. On TikTok, oh no is saying, I think the Giants are going to be run heavy and Kyron is almost 50-50 with Corum. He's not 50-50 with Corum. It did tick up from the beginning of the year to later in the year to like Corum was getting 30% to high 30s at the end of the year, but it wasn't ever really up to 50-50 with Corum last year. I see you, Jorge. Let's get this next trade done, and then we'll come back to you because we have a queue of Dynasty trades, and we don't want people to be waiting for a long time. Like we've said that we've said that in past weeks. We said we'd clear the trade queue before ending the show. I don't know that we're going to get there today. I don't know that we're going to get there. But Naked Tacos, welcome in. We're covering fantasy football right now. How are you doing? We got Beezer in a 10-team, 1 quarterback, start 9. It's a 90 players a week start. That's a shallower league, and it's a 1 quarterback, so we're not starting a ton of quarterbacks. What are we doing here? Cam Scatabo or a 27 projected late first. And I think what we're going to end up with, here's what we saw last year, and I think we're going to end up in a similar spot. I think if we're looking at a player from last offseason, it's a really good parallel for what we'll get from Cam Scatabo this season. I'll swap screens in a second to show it. I'm just prepping the browser. But Naked Tacos just redeemed chosen sub emote unlock. Oh, you got the face. You got the mustache face. You found my stupid mustache face. Lewis Legacy Sports Kid is taking Scatabo easily. I think I'm taking. Let me see which. Okay, am I sending a 27 first for Scatabo? I might be. Because here's what we're looking at. If we look at 1 year ago, where is this? Yeah, this is what I'm looking to find. We'll go to all time on this player. Let me just look at, we could just show this together. We could find this together. Go to the browser. Lewis Legacy says, especially if it's late, meaning he's competing. Am I showing the wrong browser? I am. We want this browser. Here we go. The comparison that I make for Cam Scatabo is Chase Brown. Coming into the draft last year, people thought, man, for sure the Bengals are going to replace Chase Brown. He was a day 3 pick at running back. Those teams don't always stick with those guys forever. And if you look from 2025, here's April 2025, we're looking at values at like 4,500, and then they didn't draft someone, and all offseason his value just went up. Here's July, continuing to go up August, and then we get to the regular season, and then Joe Burrow gets hurt, and we see some value dip on Chase Brown, but just this constant upswing on value for Chase Brown is similar to what I'm expecting with Cam Scatabo as we go through July and August. He's the lead guy for the Giants. People will start saying they're run-heavy team, like we're seeing in the chat. So if we're getting him, the price line that I'm getting here is, if you're getting Scatabo for a first right now, he might trade once we get into early September for a first and more. So getting him for just a first is not a bad price. So I'm going to give a slight edge to Scatabo on that one. I think I backed it up with decent logic. I think so. Considerable player, considerable situation, day 3 running backs, not getting replaced, gaining value over the offseason after the draft. I could see that happening with Scatabo, and he's getting healthy. Oh boy, we're getting up on 3 hours, gang. We're getting up on 3 hours. Let's say we'll get through King Keller's, and I don't know that we're going to get to Coolio today. Is Coolio here? He is. Coolio, it might get pushed to Wednesday. My wife's the one who makes the money. She's the one who makes the money, and we got to let her sleep. Let's take a look at this one. We got Quirt Me 123 H-Town Madness, 10-team Superflex, start 11. So 10 teams, but it's still deep. Coolio saying no sweat. Okay, it'll be Wednesday. H-Town Madness. How are we doing on this deal? We've got Brian Thomas, a 27 projected early first, and Kyle Monangai on one side, and Devon Achane and Chris Godwin on the other. How early are we projecting this first to be? And really, I don't know that it needs to be. Let me pull up the rosters and get a gauge of which side of this is Quirt Me on. Roster is loading. It's taking a moment. Can I see it on the screen? Do you have Achane? I can. I don't have the view that you guys have. Okay, am I sending Achane for Brian Thomas and a first? I bet you could get more. So like, do we know how early this first is? That's my thought process on it. I don't love projecting like, oh man, this is going to be an early first and I'm getting a stud value and I just got to know that this guy's team is going to stink. I don't have the exact, and I'm sending a player who's going to be good to this guy's team. I think you could get more for HN. I think you could just get more for HN. If you've got someone in the chat who does not think you could get more for Devon HN, let me know. Because what I'm seeing here is Godwin for Monungai is not wildly off. Godwin for a second, Monungai for a second. We could pivot and make some moves there. Jorge saying get a third. I think we get a third first, because right here with HN, you probably want to clear 2 first-round picks. Brian Thomas isn't quite there. And then so the trade says there's a 27 early first, unless the team looks god awful. Let's see what Keller's saying. You got HN for 2 firsts and Tyrone Tracy. And it probably felt cheap. So if I'm moving HN, I probably want more than this. Like maybe Brian Thomas bounces back, but the market for Brian Thomas, if we make this deal, and the market for Brian Thomas is not great right now. Josh Lair saying definitely dealing HN here. That's a lot of value. Really? I think you could get more. And maybe that's just me saying I don't know that I always think these projected placements for picks are going to hit. I don't know that we can project that stuff that well. That's kind of why we play the game. That's why people say fantasy football's luck, because we think we know this stuff right now, and then it ain't that way once we get into the season. So I'd say you could probably get a little bit more for HN. That's the side I'm sticking with. All right, King Keller. We'll get through these ones for Keller, and then we will wrap it out. In OC Dynasty, we got Christian McCaffrey on one side. Is the trade loaded for you guys? It's loading for me. Should pop in. It's just going to say that it failed to set live. What's going on? Why did it fail to set live? Now it's going live. Okay. Oh my. In a 12-team, 1 quarterback start 8. Okay. So the shallowness of this league, 12-team start 8, starts to show. 1 quarterback. Are we sending 2 first-round picks? Caleb Johnson doesn't really hold a lot in this deal. And Jalen Warren for McCaffrey. If this was 12-team start 10, I'm saying no, this is too much for McCaffrey. This would be too much for McCaffrey, because McCaffrey in trades in slightly deeper leagues is like a 27 first, and Jalen Warren gets you there. Caleb says feels like an overpay for McCaffrey with his age and just the market rate. I feel like this is at a 29 first on top is like, oh yeah. I don't know. You gave up a lot, but the picks are mine. You expect them to be 8 through 12. Did you already go through this one? Ooh, you've got McCaffrey on the squad already. I think you could have gotten him cheaper. Jorge says he's trading away CMC. I think he made the deal already. We'll try to add that into the site to have it try to detect if the deal has already happened. But just from the chat, you gave up a lot as a past tense. I think you could have gotten more, giving up 2 first-round picks and Jalen Warren, and then kind of I don't care that much about Caleb Johnson. I wish Caleb Johnson was good. One of my biggest TikToks last offseason was about Caleb Johnson, and the take does not look good, or it didn't look good. But, hey, I believed in him in the 8th round, but this isn't Caleb Johnson time. I need to get going to bed. I think we gave a bit too much here. I think you could have gotten more for Christian McCaffrey. When we post our daily trade videos, our daily trade value videos, they're 12 team start 10 values. And it's really like 27 first and a little bit more gets you McCaffrey in any league. So I think we hit the high end, and I would rather have the picks. because I think those picks should have been able to do a bit more. I'm just repeating myself. Let's jump to the next deal. For Keller, and this is the final one that we're going to get to today, and then we'll be back on Wednesday. Here we go. Is this a deal that you're looking to make or one that you did make since you're in the chat? It's 12-team start 9, so a different league. One side, Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Naylor. Okay. Jalen Naylor's in there. Or Roma Dunze, Bashal Tootin, Kevin Coleman. Both of my deals are done already. You just want the opinion. You've already got Jonathan Taylor. I don't think you paid too much for Taylor here. You got Jalen Naylor. I feel like doesn't really matter in this deal. Probably would evaluate this trade the same way without Jalen Naylor. And kind of without Kevin Coleman. I mean, you're trading a rookie for kind of Jalen Naylor's the realistic future for Kevin Coleman. Someone who should be paid to play in the NFL, but not start for any fantasy team. So would I send Roma Dunze and Bashal Tootin for Jonathan Taylor just to get what we think is more sure production at running back? Yeah, I don't hate it. Let me pull up your team. You got Taylor, Walker, David Montgomery, wide receivers, a little shallow. Puka, Devonta Smith. And we're starting to feel the missing Roma Dunze here. The Matt Meister says it's not too much for Taylor, but not enough to trade Taylor. It's not too much for Taylor, but not enough to trade Taylor away, in my opinion. Yeah, I like getting Jonathan Taylor here. I don't know that the team is amazing. You got some future value that you could use to plug in a wide receiver here. Like Puka, Devonta Smith, and then it kind of just falls off. Like we're hoping that we get something out of Antonio Williams or Jeremy Bernard or Malik Washington. But looking at wide receivers, it gets shallow. But I don't think the trade is bad. So I'm taking the Jonathan Taylor side on that one. And we said that Keller's would be the final ones that we hit today. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you for hanging with us. We hit almost 3 hours on this one. These videos do go live on YouTube, or they stay on YouTube if you feel like you missed something and you want to check out other trades or team reviews. If you're looking to submit your team and say, what do I do? What do I do? We offer that through our site. You can submit your team for a team review. We went through one today for Colton. Thank you, Colton. You can also hit your trades. Drew is saying, answer before you go. I'm in the middle of a huge life offer. Answer before you go. Drew, read. Or sorry. Drew, if your question is just a Dynasty trade question, we submit those through our website. We will be back on Wednesday picking up on the queue. We'll be back Wednesday picking up on where we're at on the queue. Andrew, I know you put it in the chat. You're not seeing other trades in the chat. You think like, oh man, it's my turn. I'm next. You're not. We have a bunch of them coming through our website. We're leaving 6 of them in the trade queue where we're at. It's just, we wrap it up at around 3 hours. My wife has to go to bed. We might have to start starting the show earlier to get through more of them. Drew saying, just stumbled here. No issues, but I'm not trying to be aggressive. I'm just saying, we take our trade questions through our website at boombustfantasy.com. Like the graphics that you're seeing here, Drew, that's how they get generated. That's why we don't pull them from the chat, so we can see your league scoring, the roster you have. If the trade that you're suggesting makes sense in a vacuum, just on value, and then does it make sense for your team? We can't see your team, so we can see your team if you submit it through our site. And actually, if you're on our Twitch or YouTube page, your team would be popped up right here. You can see my hand moving up and down on TikTok, on the Twitch and YouTube feed. I'm just pointing at a full roster of someone who submitted their trade through our site. So we're wrapping it up here. We will be back on Wednesday at, I'm going to say 7:30 Central Time. It might be earlier, depending on how many trades have come through in the queue, if we don't feel like we're going to get through them. And then Matt Meester saying, going to look into the team review. Yeah, take a look. We're going to be pushing some updates for log issues that we've seen while we were live. And we always get more reports of issues when we're live. So it could just be the site not handling the traffic. And we just need to increase the ability of, or the processing power of where we have the site deployed. But take a look at that. Thank you very much, guys. We are going to wrap it up and we'll be back on Wednesday. Take care. Bye-bye. I need to do some clicking to end the show. There it goes.